Peace, peace, greetings to you all. It's your brother Nyhiem, BKA Lord Abba, aka Mr. Just the Facts. Hit the like button, family. For those of you who are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna go in tonight. We are gonna go in tonight. I got my Freedman, Be the Power correspondents in the building. Got my brother Logic, got my brother Ali, got my brother Grim. Josh should be coming on later. And tonight we are going to address this guy that popped up on one of our streams. Legendary Top Catz. I call him Legendary Top Cap because he be capping. He says a lot of stuff that, you know, when you first hear it, it can overwhelm you. But I've been trained to spot pseudos from a mile away. So that night we were 2 hours and some change in, and he came on at the end, and we didn't want to really get into a lot of his stuff because, I mean, it's towards the end of the stream. We wasn't going to go for 3 hours, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure y'all sharing this out, family. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you would like to contribute to the platform, you can use the Cash App handle at BETHEPOWER. Now, on Clubhouse, this brother, Top Caps, he is clout chasing, and he's running with this indigenous stuff. So I came in the room one night and I said, look, there's no tribe of we. If some of you are, in fact, Native Americans or indigenous, so be it. If you can prove that, so be it. That's, you know, we talking about reparations and tracing back the lineage of the descendants of freedmen, those who were formerly enslaved, our ancestors. I said, then you shouldn't generalize and use we, because we're not that. We've traced our ancestry back to slavery. You know, the brother tries to go on and on with a lot of information that he thinks is so deep, Indian wars, and claiming that black people back in those days, most weren't slaves, that most of them were in fact indigenous. And we did a room the other day on Clubhouse, myself, brother Logic, and Josh, and we were intentional with our intent. And a portion of our title read, "Are we indigenous?" And I put "we" in quotation marks. Now, the point was to show that we're not interfering in your stuff. Whatever you feel that you want to be, an Indian, a black, native, etc., we're not interfering in that at all. You can be whatever you want to be. But when you go on Clubhouse and try to sway people's minds as if this black, native, indigenous, American, Indian is what we are as a people, then we're going to have issues. And brothers like us at Be the Power, we're going to come on and we're going to go at your neck and prove that you just capping. You're just a capper, a legendary top cap. So, bros, y'all, you know, set it off. I'll come in a little bit later. I'm going to play some of the video from the live stream where he jumped on making all types of frivolous claims. And we're going to get into just chopping that stuff up and debunking it.
Yeah. First, let's start off with one, right? Nyhiem already explained the position. What we come here to do, and what we always do, and what we always have done, is set the record straight. We're going to give you a clear breakdown of the historical facts. You understand? Because you have a certain group of people, right? Not of their own fault. They do history and they misunderstand history, and that's fine. We're here to help educate you and get and produce a proper understanding. Then you have another group of people who misrepresent the history, and that's intentional. They're intentionally misrepresenting the history for their own personal agendas. So we have to start off with the premise, right? They're claiming that we're indigenous. You have this whole new wave of clout chasing, right? And real lineage denial. You understand? And they want to say, you know, we're indigenous. We're not slaves. They want to even deny slavery itself, say we're not slaves. They want to deny the existence of the transatlantic slave trade. Some people want to say that it happened backwards. I don't even know how you get that. You understand? But we have this whole thing. So first we have to start with what they're saying that they are, right? Indigenous. What does indigenous mean? So let's just go. Let's just go to the definition and let's keep it plain. You know, it comes from the Latin indigene, right? Or indigene plus the indigenous. But it means originating or occurring naturally in a particular place, being native, right? Okay. So you have a couple things, right? With this particular definition, it's saying that the part that you really have to pay attention to, right? It says originating, talking about your place of origin, or occurring naturally in a particular place. So we all have these individuals coming out with this indigenous identity, and then they want to talk about, you know, we intermingling and mixing and marrying, but then that's not a natural circumstance, because a lot of these relationships, right? You have communities that were built up. We have natural circumstances, which you have tribes and nations of people who marry naturally. They're in their natural habitat, eating their natural food, living their natural original way of life. Then you have unnatural events that take place that force people to do things that are unnatural, like take in slave refugees or take on slaves themselves that come from another continent. You understand? So these are unnatural events. So you can't say that you are indigenous if you are manifested through, or you are produced through an unnatural experience, right? So another thing that they talk about, and some of the claims that are made and the misrepresentation of some of the claims, are they're trying to really steal the freedmen legacy and say that the freedmen are really Indians, right? And that the lands that were supposed to be awarded to freedmen was land stolen from and it was really supposed to be for the Indians and all this type of stuff, right? So first of all, let's understand what the freedmen whole concept is about, right? Let's just talk about what the freedmen is, right? We're going to go to the U.S. Senate. What does the United, because you really have to understand, you can think about and have your own opinions about anything, but there's something called official positions, right? Which really is what mattered, right? If you want to talk about authority and rule of law and things of that nature, you have an official position of the government. Who does the government recognize as freedmen, right? And so when we start, and when there was a claim also made that everything that was created for our ancestors really was created for the so-called indigenous people and not the emancipated slaves. So I want to just read, and then after this, I'll pass it on, and then we'll continue on. We keep swinging around. But the Freedmen's Bureau Acts of 1865 and 1866. First, let's understand that before we start breaking down this indigenous stuff. Who are the freedmen? Who was the government talking about? On March 3rd, 1865. Do I need to share this screen? Do I need to pull this up? Let me know if y'all feel like.
I mean, if you want to, definitely.
Why not?
All right, let me pull it up, family, so y'all can know where I'm getting this stuff from, and that I'm not just reading some stuff that I typed on a Word document or something. You know what I mean? Because people do that. You'll ask them for sources, and They were like, they can't give you the sources, like is they holding some secret information that nobody can get. But we
That's
open
that's what these brothers do. Top Caps and Dane Calloway.
Yeah, because they don't want to know they reading out of comic books and shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not even reading out of real scholarly material. So let's go to the U.S. This is the U.S. Senate's website, right? It says Freedmen's Bureau Acts of 1865 and 1866. On March 3rd, 1865, Congress passed an act to establish a bureau for the relief of freedmen and refugees to provide food, shelter, clothing, medical services, and land to displaced Southerners, including newly freed African Americans. The Freedmen's Bureau, it didn't say newly freed indigenous, newly freed African Americans. The Freedmen's Bureau was to operate during the present War of Rebellion and for 1 year thereafter, and also establish schools, supervise contracts between freedmen and employers, and manage confiscated abandoned lands. Abandoned lands. Keep that in the mental note for later when we go into breaking that down.
That's right.
The battle to establish the Freedmen's Bureau and then to extend the legislation 1 year later was a major factor in the struggle between President Andrew Johnson and radical Republicans in Congress over Reconstruction and the role of the federal government in integrating 4 million newly emancipated African Americans, not indigenous, 4 million newly emancipated African Americans into political life of the nation. Now, bear with me, people. This history is important. I want to read it all for you. All right. In 1863, Representative T.D. Eliot of Massachusetts proposed a bill establishing a Bureau of Emancipation with the Department of War to provide protection and support to newly freed African Americans. Freedmen aid societies had been advocating for such an agency through memorials, petitions, and direct lobbying. The House spent 2 months debating the bill and finally passed it by a vote of 69 to 67 on March 1st, 1864. The bill was passed. The bill was then referred, to the Senate Select Committee on Slavery and Freedom, chaired by Charles Sumner of Massachusetts. Senate debate on the bill focused on which executive department should run the Bureau. Such senators objected to placing the Freedmen's Bureau in the Department of War, favoring the Department of the Treasury instead, insisting that the well-being of freedmen, the African Americans are being referred to as the freedmen, the emancipated slaves are being referred to as the freedmen.
That's right.
By the Senate, right, and the federal government. The well-being of freedmen depended on their connection to the land. These senators noted that Congress had placed control of confiscated lands in the Treasury Department and argued that freedmen and lands should be handled by one authority. Senators who favored the War Department believed it had more experience than any other agency in addressing the needs of freedmen and thought military power was necessary to protect former slaves, not indigenous people. Despite the fact, and you got to understand, during this time, we're going to break it down later. During this time, there's also treaties being the same time. There's also the same year, and oftentimes the same month, there are treaties being made with indigenous people. Two distinct different groups. We're going to break it down later. Let's go. The revised legislation. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss none now. Despite the fact that an amended bill would have to go back to the House, where it had narrowly passed before, the Senate placed the Bureau under the Treasury Department and passed its amendment Freedmen's Bureau Bill on June 28, 1864, by a vote of 21-9. The House refused to agree to the Senate's changes, however, so the bill went to conference. The conference committee reported a new bill on February 2nd, 1865, authorizing an independent Department of Freedmen and Abandoned Lands, not subject to either the War or Treasury departments. The revised legislation stirred more debate. In addition to the issue of which department should control the Freedmen's Bureau, senators disputed the role of the federal government in providing special treatment to a specific group of people at the exclusion of others. Some senators argued that the Freedmen's Bureau would make former slaves, now they're telling you about that specific group that they're referring to, that the former slaves and Southern refugees depended on government bureaucrats who might take advantage of them, right? It would, in effect, prolong their servitude, Iowa Senator James Grimes claimed. Are they free men or are they not? If they are free men, why not let them stand as free men? He asked. Senator Sumner countered the assistance with a necessity during the transition from slavery to freedom. The curse of slavery is still upon them, he insisted. Call it charity or duty, he said. Regarding the creation of the Freedmen's Bureau, it is sacred as humanity. You understand? What he's saying about the creation of the Freedmen's Bureau and getting rid of what he called it, the curse of slavery. Refer to another program we did to get more insight on that. The curse of slavery is still upon them, he insisted. All right. So now, ultimately, the Senate voted not to concur with the conference report and requested a second conference, which agreed to place control of the Bureau of Refugees, Freedmen, and Abandoned Lands in the War Department. Although several senators vociferously opposed the legislation, the Senate adopted the conference report on March 3rd, 1865 by a vote of 21-9, with 22 members abstaining. The House quickly followed suit, and President Abraham Lincoln signed the bill that same day. A little more than a month later, President Lincoln was assassinated, and Vice President Andrew Johnson, who would repeatedly clash with radical Republicans in the House and Senate, assumed the presidency. While the act creating the Freedmen's Bureau was a considerable legislative accomplishment, it limited the agency's operation to just 1 year after the end of the Civil War. On January 5th, 1866, Illinois Senator Lyman Trumbull introduced a bill to extend the provisions of the Freedmen's Bureau Act by removing an expiration date and encompassing freedmen and refugees everywhere in the United States, not just the ex-Confederate states. His bill also expanded the power of military governors to enforce provisions to protect African Americans and defend the organization of interim governments in the South under conditions prescribed by Congress. For nearly 3 weeks, the Senate debated the bill, and on January 25th, approved it by a vote of 37-10. After House approval, the bill went to the president's desk on February 13th. Supporters of the legislation, including Lyman Trumbull, believed President Andrew Johnson would sign the bill, so they were shocked when he sent the bill back to the Senate on February 19th with a veto message. Johnson stated reasons for opposing the legislations were similar to the arguments made by the measure's opponents in the House and Senate. It was unnecessary to extend the original legislation. It infringed on states' rights. Keep states' rights in your mind. It gave the federal government an unprecedented role in providing aid to a specific group of people at the exclusion of others. And it wasn't expansive. It was expensive, excuse me. Johnson said Johnson had resisted all congressionally driven Reconstruction programs and denounced those who stood opposed to the restoration of the Union. He viewed the Southern states as fully restored and thus entitled to enjoy their constitutional rights as members of the Union. Democrats and moderate Republicans supported the president's position, and a vote to override the veto the next day failed to gain the necessary 2/3 votes. This issue floundered until May, when a more moderate House bill to extend the Freedmen's Bureau was proposed. This final bill gained approval by both the House and the Senate and went to the president on July 3rd. Again, President Johnson vetoed the bill. This time, however, both the Senate and House mustered the 2/3 majorities necessary to override the veto. The Freedmen's Bureau Act of 1866 became law on July 16, extending the work of the agency for 2 more years. Now, that is important. I wanted to read that in its entirety so that we can kind of frame what this whole freedmen thing was about. This whole freedmen thing, and in the debate, nowhere in the debate did you hear the discussion of about indigenous people, right? And so-called Indians. And we're going to deal with this whole so-called American Indian term and what a real Native American is. And I'm going to really get into that on my next go around. I yield back to you, Nyhiem.
Indeed, peace. So, we're gonna let some of the bros come on. I'm gonna pull up something. I'm gonna play a video clip from Top Caps, and from there we're gonna just finish the deconstruction of this guy's frivolous, ahistorical claims. So, Brother Ali, Brother Grimm, did y'all want to add anything?
Well, go ahead, Grim. Go ahead, Grim.
Nah, you go ahead, brother Ali. Go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna do was just go into, I mean, just to make the audience familiar with some of what we're talking about, and um, who we're talking about is there are two people in particular that we're actually making reference to. Um, One guy's name is Dane Calloway. Another guy calls himself Top Cat or something like that, right? And basically, hold on for a second. Let me just give you some of the arguments that this guy's making. I know that it was touched on, but let me just read it, because there's a number of things. Obviously, the main point is that they're trying to say that African Americans are not African, which what they're really trying to say is that we have no African ancestry. In other words, there's no ancestry of ours that ties us or links us to any of the ethnic groups of West Africa. We are allegedly, according to them, purely Native American. Example, there are a lot of people who claim to be Cherokee. There are people who claim to be Choctaw, people who claim to be Chickasaw, people who will claim to be Seminole, etc. Usually the claims are related to the so-called 5 civilized tribes who occupied the region of the southeast areas, like South Carolina, Georgia. I think they were somewhat in Florida, etc. Some of the Seminole, so-called Seminoles, whatever, right? Look them up, the 5 civilized tribes. And so basically what we're doing is, in terms of deconstructing these claims, is trying to show people that these claims are actually erroneous, right? Not to say that no African American has any Native American ancestry. That's not what we're saying. That's never what we're arguing. We never even made that claim. But what we're doing is showing that we're not a people who is purely of Native American Indian stock. Our ethnic ties link us majority to the West African people who were brought here during the transatlantic slave trade. So I just wanted to say that so people understand what we're saying, that African Americans are largely of West African descent, not Native American descent, which is why when you do DNA tests and they do your ancestral DNA test and it comes back with very little to no Native American ancestry, is because they're comparing your DNA to that of the people who claim to be the descendants of the 5 civilized tribes, and it doesn't match. It doesn't match. So all of the claims that people like Top Cat, Dane Calloway, etc., the claims that they're making, they can't back them up. And usually what you'll find is when you ask them about DNA tests, they'll never be able to provide DNA tests for you. Dane Calloway, after all these years of talking about his Native American ancestry, has never shown anybody a DNA test that links him to any of the 5 civilized tribes. This Top Cat will never do it. You understand what I'm saying? Because what they're going to find out if they do their DNA test is that they're more of West African ethnicity than anything else, right? That's usually the case with African Americans. So I'll just pause right there, bro, so you can pull up whatever you want to pull up. I just wanted to make that clear for the audience.
Yeah, go ahead, Brother Grimm.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject, man. Y'all know what I'm about to say. The bottom line is this. A lot of our people have an inferiority complex. And the inferiority complex is really based upon something, man, that's like rooted in our psyche, that we are basically, number one, ashamed to be descendant of slaves, And number two, we basically ashamed of our ancient origins in West Africa. Now, if you really want to feel some type of way, you can go back and you can study the history of the Western Sudanic Empire. And when you look at the Western Sudanic empires, and I'm not trying to go, into some other stuff, but when you look at the West African empires, you have great and powerful kingdoms. Now, they weren't all righteous, because if they was all right, wise, and exact, our ancestors wouldn't have been shipped over here. But you had great and powerful kingdoms like Mali, Ghana, Songhai, the Hausa states, the Canaan, Bornu. I mean, the list go on. Like Ali was saying, just following up behind him, we the descendants of the great, great empires from West Africa, but we basically ashamed of that. So, we would rather say that we was the people in the plains and the wigwams and stuff like that, and basically claim someone else's legacy, So when we do that, and I don't want to step on nobody's toes, because I know we got cross information that we go share. But the bottom line, man, is like when you compare the greatness of where we come from, compared to the people that was over here, you know what I'm saying? In many respects, and with all due respect to those people, it was way greater than what was over here in the continental United States of America. And we're referring to the greatness that we come from in the Sudanic and the West African empires. Another thing that I want to say is that, we dealing with this indigenous stuff, right? With the indigenous stuff, we have two things. And you can come back with the archaeological information, and the brothers of BTP will tell you that we know this. And we know that there were people who came over the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, yes, the Atlantic here to the Western Hemisphere. We know that. And we know that they came before Columbus. Ivan Van Sertima has done tremendous amounts of work. And he was influenced by another European scholar by the name of Leo Wiener, who talked about the African voyages to America. So we know that indigenous, if you want to use the term, we know that indigenous Africans came over here, right? It could be easily proven. But that does not make them Seminoles. It does not make them Cherokees. It does not make them the Lenape tribes. It doesn't make them any of the five civilized tribes. Basically, what that makes them is Africans who voyaged over to the Atlantic Ocean and through the current that actually exists in the Atlantic Ocean. It swings sailors right into the Gulf of Mexico. So you have a history of Africans probably being on Panama and the islands and things of that nature. But it wasn't in large numbers that we became all of these Native American tribes. You follow what I'm saying? But I know Logic will go into some things. I'm going to fall back. But I just want to say this. The origin of a lot of this African Americans ain't African. I think they got a Facebook page, a YouTube page talking about African Americans ain't African. They'll take a picture of Scottie Pippen and put it next to a Native American and say, see, Scottie Pippen look just like this Native American. It's just a bunch of insane conclusions that they come to. But the origin of this, I'm not going to be long, brothers. The origin of this stuff really comes from two factors. One, from a statement that Noble Drew Ali made in the Moorish Science Temple and their literature about the nations of the North, South, and Central America. And he named a whole bunch of the Latin American nations and saying that all these were our people and we were all left. So what ended up happening is that when people look into what the prophet said in that regard, or what Noble Drew Ali said in that regard, they start finding other information and start drawing a bunch of conclusions that we were indigenous from over here and that we weren't from Africa. That's one of the sources of where a lot of that stuff come from. The second was there was this lady by the name of Vertice Galston, right? And Vertice Galston is the founder of the Washita, or what is called the Washita de Dugdemounia. And I know I will go get into that because we always clown the de Dugdemounia. She was a lady that made the that her family was basically the original a black lady. She said her family was the indigenous people of the Louisiana Purchase, and that the Louisiana Purchase lands were seceded were ceded to her family through some kind of deed with the French or whatever, basically saying that she was the original possessor of the lands of Louisiana Purchase, right? So she was saying that they was original Native Americans, blah, blah, blah. So you'll find, if you research a lot of these people's history, you'll find that originally they either had some type of connection to the Washita information or came through this type of indigenous information via the Moorish Science Temple of America and the vague statements that was made in its literature. So I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed where a lot of these people who say African Americans ain't African and we indigenous and we've been here for all eternity and we was all of these Native American tribes. That's basically, man, what they were. That's where this stuff come from, and we can go more into that. I'm a fall back.
All right, yo, real quick, somebody, we love to do on the spot corrections, and everything is a real learning experience when you in the University of the Freedmen, right? Somebody said in the chat, African American is basically a new term. Where's the exact comment? I don't want to misquote nobody. What did he say? He said, don't worry about it. We're going to deal with it all tonight. And this is appropriate to go into because it goes back. African American wasn't a term at that time. Well, check this out, family. Brother Grimm responded and said African American was a term since the 1700s. We don't just make statements. We just like our host, Mr. Just the Facts, BTP only giving you facts. So logic is going to prove that right here and right now. All right. So I'm going to share a screen again of a New York Times article. You understand? And it's going to prove that right now. All right. So I'm going to get this queued up and pulled up. It says the New York Times use of African American dates to nation's early days by Jennifer, whatever obviously this is, see, an immigrant. Look at the last name. Everybody's an immigrant, but the freedmen. You see, you can see that in their names. You know, we the only people native to this republic, and I'm going to explain that later on. It says the term African American may seem to be a product of recent decades exploding into common usage in the 1990s after a push from advocates like Jesse Jackson, and only enshrined in the Oxford English Dictionary in 2001. The OED entry revised in 2012 traces the first known occurrence to 1835 in an abolitionist newspaper. But now a researcher has discovered a printed reference in an anti-British sermon from 1782 credited to an anonymous African American, publishing the origins of the term back to the earliest days of independence. We think of it as a neutral alternative, right, to older terms, one that resembles Italian American or Irish American, said Fred Shapiro, an associate director at the Yale Law School Library, who found he's the one who found the reference, right? It's a very striking usage to see back in 1782. Mr. Shapiro, a longtime contributor to the OED and the editor of the Yale Book of Quotations, found the reference last month in one of his regular sweeps of various online databases that have transformed lexicographic research by gathering vast swaths of historical texts once scattered across the collections of far-flung libraries and historical societies in one easy searchable place. One day, Mr. Shapiro typed African American into a database of historical newspapers. Up popped an advertisement that appeared in the Pennsylvania Journal on May 15, 1782, announcing 2 sermons written by the African American, one on the capture of Lord Cromwell's, to be sold. So I just wanted to prove that point real quick, that this was actually a term used back then. There's other, they talked about it being used in the 1800s, but it did go back all the way. 1782 was the date that this particular scholar found. But let's get back into this indigenous thing, right? And into some of the claims. So let's just, what I want to do, let's just look at, Ali was talking about, a lot of people want to like link themselves into what is now known as the 5 civilized tribes. You got the Cherokee, the Seminole, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Creek, the Muskogee, so on and so forth, right? So let's look at something. So we're talking about being indigenous, and I talked about earlier in the program people who misunderstand the history and people who misrepresent the history. The people who misrepresent the history, they take a little bit of truth and then they take that and then they omit all the other truth, right? Like we have some relation with indigenous peoples, but let's just say at the most you have a quarter of that in your blood. You're going to deny the 3/4 that's something else and say, oh, I'm indigenous. So forget all this other stuff you have in you, because we are people who come from an unnatural experience. And that this unnatural institution known as chattel slavery has produced a bunch of unnatural things. So we are an amalgamation of a whole lot of breeds of human beings, right? So we were interbred and interbred and interbred. We got all kinds of Irish, French, English, all Italian, all kind of stuff in our blood. But you don't see none of these people saying, "Oh, we really Italians." You probably got way more than that in your blood than you do Chickasaw, Creek, Seminole, Cherokee, and all that other stuff. But you don't see. This is when you see the clout chasing and the grift coming in, and the personal agenda that's being promoted, because they know they got all that other stuff in their blood too. But you don't see nobody talking about, "Oh, we really Irish. Oh, we really French people." They don't do that. They want to go on this aboriginal indigenous thing, right? So Pete, let's go to the Cherokees, one of their favorite people. Let's look at the favorite nation, one of the favorite nations, right? Most known nations that they like to bring up. And let's look at what happened. Let's analyze the history. And I'm gonna read something brief from there, and then we can swing it around and keep hitting this thing, man, because there's a lot of claims that got to be dealt with, and we're going to deal with them one by one, right? So let me know when you got this pulled up, and I'm going to get straight to it. All right, bet. Check it out, right? Invisible African, Native American lives in America, right? The Cherokee Freedmen debate, because it's a debate long before we found out who this alley cat was, Chief, whatever his name is, right? So early in the 1800s, some Cherokees acquired slaves. And in the 1830s, enslaved African Americans accompanied the Cherokees when the federal government forced them to move to Indian territory. We're going to deal with that Indian term in a minute, and I said that. Oklahoma, right? Where the tribe struggled to rebuild its culture and institutions. By 1861, there were 4,000 Black slaves living among the Cherokees. After the Civil War, the tribe signed a treaty that granted former slaves or freedmen. Who are they talking about as in the Cherokee society as freedmen? Not all the Cherokees, the former slaves or freedmen, all the rights of native Cherokees. So, and then we're going to go into that. This was forced upon them. This is not something that they wanted to do. The federal government had to step in with certain treaties and whatnot and make that happen, right? So, Cherokees amended their tribal constitution. We had to force them, just like we had to force the Confederates, right, to do certain things, right, and make certain policy changes. Amended their tribal constitutions, making Indian blood a requirement for citizenship. This is what they did. Now, if you are Aboriginal without doubt or contradiction, this whole Indian blood situation and requirement wouldn't be a issue for you, right? And it's all about them trying to seek specificity. And me, as a advocate for reparations for the freedmen, I don't have no problem with specificity because we have our own specific criteria to fall in line with our justice claim. So I don't have no issue with that. That's their business, right? So that was their requirement for citizenship. As a result, some 2,800 descendants of Cherokee freedmen were excluded from membership. Now, stop right there. Now, they said they have 4,000 former slaves, right? But they excluded 2,800 because of the blood standard. So that meant that there's some of you who were indigenous and you could pass the blood test, they kept you. But those of you like Chief Nonsense were excluded because you couldn't pass the blood test. You didn't have enough blood. You was more related to the so-called Africans that you want to deny and the original freedmen that you want to steal the legacy of. You had more of that in your blood. So you were expelled, you understand, because you did not meet their specific standards of for membership, right? And tribal recognition. But you want to tell everybody black. Here's a quote. It says, "It has everything to do with who can be an Indian in an Indian tribe. The right to define tribal membership lies at the core of tribal identity and self-governance." This is Chad Smith, principal chief of the Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. He said this only in just 2007. So y'all positions are changing, but they positions are not, right? And someone said, I would not take $1 million to give up my treaty rights and legal rights to citizenship, right? Marion Van, a leader of descendants of Cherokee freedmen. So now she, right? Some descendants of Cherokee freedmen have filed a lawsuit to regain tribal citizenship. They claim the 2007 amendment to the Cherokee Tribal Constitution ignores history and violates their treaty of 1866. We're going to get into that treaty of 1866 too, right? So what these people see, right, are those who really are majority something else trying to access full tribal recognition because they have a relationship forced in through intermarrying slaves and slavery. So the position of these chieftains and these tribal chieftains and whatnot is saying, you know what? We had slaves, we amalgamated, but y'all don't have full tribal rights because of the blood standard that we hold so sacred in our society. So they not honoring you, but you want us to honor you. Y'all debate ain't with us, it's with the Cherokees, right? So blood by law. And we can get into this. I want to really bring this up too, right? Because it brings up a lot of different stuff. Native nations have fought hard for self-determination, for the right to govern themselves and make their own laws. It is their right to decide who may be officially accepted as a member of their tribe. It's their right. Tribal regulations concerning these decisions often require a certain degree of native ancestry, kinship, and or proof of descent from an ancestor listed on the official membership roll. Many African Native American people lack the documentation they need to prove their claim, and they feel unfairly excluded by these rules, right? Everything, people always complain about the rules. Both sides have a case, but in the end, it is the Native nations who decide tribal membership, while personal expressions of identity are an individual choice. That's very powerful to understand that, right? It's an individual's choice. So you got that's what we say. You can recognize yourself or call yourself whatever you want, but you have to understand the standard that has to be met to get the recognition. If you want the nations to see, y'all begging for us to recognize you. That's why I know you're not sincere about your claim, because you're not knocking down Chief Bigfoot's door demanding that he'd recognize you. You got Top Cat, who probably live right in the hood next to you, telling you that you's a native or you an indigenous person, but he's not going to bat. He's arguing, he's chasing Nyhiem all around social media, trying to debate him instead of debating the tribal chieftains and the federal government for his recognition for his own lineage that he claimed is his. So this is a person who's dishonest and is purposely misrepresenting the history because he didn't tell you about all the slaves that the Cherokees owned. You understand? We're going to get to some other stuff. Do anybody want to come in and say something?
Yeah, brother, I want to come in and say something.
Hold on. After Grim, if you want to say something, let me know. But I'm gonna play the video,
okay,
and then I'm gonna get into the.
Back.
No. You could go ahead, but I just want to kind of cue this up because we moving along. This thing moving along real quick. Yeah, go ahead, brother Grim.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, man. I just wanted to basically back up, man, what Brother Logic is saying, and add, you know, other context to that, man. Is that basically what you are seeing? So they'll pull up a picture of a black Native American and say, well, how you gonna deny this woman? She living in the wigwam. She got long hair. Her hair is tied up. She dressed, you know, the pictures that Dr. York used to put in there. Used to say he was a descendant of this particular Indian lady. That sister, I can't remember that sister's name. But anyway, basically, man, what you have is this. The people that you are seeing in a lot of these photos that are quote unquote black Indians, you are looking at Gullah, particularly when it comes to the Seminole aspect of this thing. Because see, Seminole is not really a true tribe, so to speak. The Seminole, or the word Seminole, is basically another word for like similar to the word I'm sorry, I'm just
I think it's runaway.
Yeah, it means runaway. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it basically means runaway. So if the word Seminole means runaway, then who are they really talking about? You follow what I'm saying? So basically what you have is communities of Maroons and Gullah Geechee people, particularly in the Southeast, who basically formed confederations with the Native American indigenous people that was here. And some of the people married, some of the Africans, or the people who are descendants of Africans, were here, and they began to accept and live with these different tribes and take on their religion and culture. But in essence, they were Africans. Y'all understand what I'm saying? They were Africans who were basically living in the habits of Native Americans. So you have a statement, and I want to read your statement, then I'm gonna fall back. From what is that general name? Okay, and I'll just read it. In 1818, General Andrew Jackson led an American army into Florida to claim it for the United States, and a war finally erupted. The blacks and the Indians, see, because you were having blacks who escaped from slavery, who was living in this area as Maroons. That's what the brothers from New Black Knowledge was talking about. This whole thing about the Maroon thing is not indigenous to or original to what Jamaica. They had Maroons that was living in the continental United States in the swamps of Louisiana, the swamps of Mississippi, Florida. They had people that was living in this area. So as I continue, they basically said there was the blacks and the Indians. See, we making two distinctions between two different types of people. They fought side by side in a desperate struggle to stop the American advance. This is what you see in people melding together to stop the advance of America into the former Spanish territory. But they were defeated and driven south into more remote wilderness of central and southern Florida. General Jackson, later president, referred to this first Seminole War as Indian and Negro War.
That's right.
In 1835, the second Seminole War broke out, and this full-scale guerrilla war would last for 6 years and claim the lives of 1,500 American soldiers. Right, the Black Seminoles, as they being called, basically Black runaways, waged the fiercest resistance. So it was our people. You see what I'm saying? That we waged the fiercest war. This was Gullah people doing this. This was Gullah Geechees, right? As they feared the capture or surrender meant death or what? Return to slavery. And they were more adept at living and fighting in the jungles than their Indian comrades.
Come on now.
So
now hold on.
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah, say that again now.
The Black Seminoles waged the fiercest resistance, and they feared capture or surrender meant death or return to slavery. And they were more adept at living and fighting in the jungles than their Indian comrades. Right?
That's right.
So, yes, go ahead, Ali.
What's crazy is Dane Calloway made the comment that our people are represented by the turtle because the turtle is some kind of fierce warrior type of animal that didn't play with the invaders when they came to the Americas. The turtle.
Man, turtles ain't shit.
Turtles ain't shit. Hey, let me read this because before you go, Abba, because look at this.
That's it.
That's right.
Let me finish this point. Go
ahead, bro.
The American commander, General Jessup, informed the War Department. General Jessup, he informed the War Department that y'all listen to this because this is important. This, you may be assured, is a Negro and not an Indian war.
That's right.
And the U.S. congressman of the period commented that these black fighters were contending against the whole military power of the United States. And I'm going to stop right here. As secret as it's told, and Ali know this, let the secret be told that these wars from these maroon blacks being classified as Seminoles or whatever, this also expedited the Civil War. And I'm going to fall back.
Yo, check this out, right? Look at those brothers right here. This is what Grim was talking about. People always want to bring up pictures of black Indians, right? Look at it, though, right? First of all, let's read what it says. Native peoples experienced slavery and saw enslaved Africans differently at different times and places. Early in the colonial period, Native Americans were sometimes enslaved alongside African Americans. They intermarried and lived through common struggles. Some even coordinated armed resistance to white encroachment. Later, Native tribes sometimes took in and harbored runaway slaves, accepting them into their communities and blending in their culture expressions, but members of some Native nations, particularly the southern eastern tribes that emulated white society, themselves kept African Americans. Now look at these brothers. They look like some of my cousins. They look like Jerome, and they look like, my man Jimmy, you know what I'm saying, from up the block. It says Buck. His name is Buck. Buck Franklin, 1879 through 1960, right? Son of Chickasaw freedman, quotations, emancipated slave. But peep it out now. These are the black Indians that they talking to you about. And when they pull these pictures up, they talking about Africans, people who were enslaved, freedmen, enslaved through Indian captivity and whatnot. Buck Franklin, shown here, 1899, with his older brother, Matthew. Now, if these are indigenous people, why the hell is they named Buck and Matthew? Why ain't they Running Water and Sitting Bull and all that type of shit? This is Buck and Matthew we talking about, but they Chickasaws, right? All right, was named after his grandfather, who, now listen, this is lineage. That's not the first time they had a Matthew or a Buck. He was named after his grandfather, who had been a slave of the Chickasaw family in Oklahoma. Buck Franklin became a. How you get an indigenous Buck Franklin? You understand? Who is named after his damn grandfather, who was also Buck Franklin. How you got that, but you indigenous? They wasn't no goddamn Buck Franklins over here naturally. You can't naturally be a damn Buck Franklin when you was a Chickaw from your beginning to the root of your lineage to the branch and the fruit.
And mind you,
talking about
Buck and Matthew. Come
that's
on,
right.
now.
Mind you, now remember Buck is born in 1879, so if he's named after his grandfather, Buck
Come
Franklin,
on.
this man probably was born in the 1700s, mid. So anyway, go ahead. I just wanted to point that out.
No, go ahead, Al. I just wanted to talk about that because they always want to bring up Dane Calloway and all these other myth makers. Always want to. They so ashamed. They so ashamed of their own true history. They always want to bring up and misrepresent this bullshit, and they don't even understand they're doing a disservice and being disrespectful to these people's actual lineage and their actual history. You think you're doing a great service, trying to unearth some unknown truth, but what you're doing is disrespecting these people because Bucks. See, you'll show this picture and say, see, the Chickaws is really black, but you don't understand. Buck ain't no indigenous name, and his grandfather was a goddamn slave to the Chickasaws. But you don't want to talk about that though.
Come on.
Go ahead.
That's right.
What it really is, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What it really is you got a bunch of anti-African black white supremacists that are pushing all of these different narratives because they really are just anti-African, whether it is the white woman running ADOS, whether it is Dane Calloway, whether it is Chief Bigfoot, whatever, Alley Cat, right? All of these people are actually anti-African white supremacists, man. And the fact of the matter is, all of those so-called 5 civilized tribes, they are called civilized tribes because they adopted the Christian concepts of the European devils, number one. Number two, they held our people as slaves. Number three, they sided with the Confederates. So y'all talking about y'all are descendants of these freaking traitors who disrespected our people, who held our people as slaves. And let me shut up, man.
Don't shut up. Keep going now, brother. Get on in it now. Come on, they need to hear this shit.
Right.
They done lost their mind.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother Nyhiem. Play the video. Let's get into what he's saying.
Hold on. Let's get into this. Let's hear from the man's own mouth. From
the Stooge's mouth.
Let's show y'all how this thing is done. All right. Means that we are the true indigenous Americans. Like, I mean, come on. I had to address that. All right, what do you have up on the screen? Let's take a look.
All right, when
the
Spanish got here, these are the people that they came across.
Wait, let me pause this. Notice.
Stop it right there. Go ahead.
Notice, and I want you all to look at everything that's going on here. I'm going to let it play out, but I want you to see what he has up on the screen. Jacksonville Historical Society. I'm guessing that he pronounces it as Tamiqua, so I'm going to pronounce it as Tamiqua.
No,
I don't know. I don't think that it is. It looks like
it's Tamiqua.
Tamiqua, but he's calling it the Tamiqua because that's how you would say it if you was like from Texas somewhere or America, right? Right? That's exactly how you would say it.
You would think an indigenous person know how to speak the tongue, right? You've been here since forever. You indigenous, right?
Hello.
Notice it says native appearances on this top line right here in the second column. Native from his Jacksonville Historical Society. So let's let this play.
These are the Tamiqua people. These Tamiqua people, they're what you call a Muskogee stock down south. This is the Mississippi Mound Builders. And so if y'all
which Europeans are you talking about though?
What?
Wait a minute. Let me go back. Hold on.
Yeah, because he said, yeah. Anyway.
We missed something. Means that we are the true indigenous Americans. Like, I mean, come on. I had to address that. All right, what do you have up on the screen? Let's take a look.
All right, when the Spanish got here, these are the people that they came across. These are the Tamiqua people. All right, this Tamiqua people, they're what you call a Muskogee stock down south. This is the Mississippi Mound Builders, and so if y'all familiar,
Which Europeans are you talking about though?
well, this
Because
was
the Europeans
the Spanish that came and settled in Florida. All right,
yeah,
this is the first contact.
Before you start, I just want to say that they did not come to North America first. So those people
I'm
in
asking
Mississippi.
I'm talking about when they got to North America.
Okay.
When they first came to North America.
Okay.
Because that's very important if we're talking about the people specifically in North America. All right. And so the first people that they bumped into was the Tamiqua people. And now this is their statue. This is how they depict the people. Now, when the British first got here and settled in the colony of Virginia, named after
Yo, what we got going on?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you know, my bad, family. I was on mute. My bad. Hold on 1 second. I wanted to show that this guy said that this statue, the Tamiqua, as he calls them, that this statue is how they depicted themselves. This is what he said, that this is a statue of the Tamiqua, right? Now, there's a guy in the lower left-hand corner, if y'all see him, named Mike Easton. He's agreeing with everything that legendary Top Cap, I don't call him Top Catz, I call him Top Cap because he be capping, is saying. He's just nodding his head to every single thing. And it goes to show what Brother Grimm was talking about earlier about basically our people really just hate themselves and they want to be everything but themselves and are ashamed of their slave ancestry, not knowing that it is this ancestry that made us the survivors that we are today. So I just wanted to stress that point, that this statue, he said, is of the Tamiqua. This is how they depicted themselves. This is a statue made by their own hands. Let's finish.
Hold on. Elizabeth, go ahead. Now, I just wanted to say he mentioned the Muskogee, right? He mentioned the Muskogee. Just keep this in mind, family, because they trying to attach the freedman legacy to Indians, right? Creek freedmen is a term for emancipated Creeks with African descent who were slaves of the Muskogee tribal members before 1866. Carry on.
First, the Virgin Queen, they came with the company of the Virginia Company of London. All right. Later, the Stewart family, King James, and them ended up taking over their company. And later, his grandson started the Royal African Company. Okay, no. Look, this is good. This is good. I see Mike Easton in the back because he didn't bring no sources, but he's co-signed. Right now, I don't know if you're confusing what we're saying here. I'm not sure. All right, let's all right. What you need to be clear on, what need to be edified. The purpose of tonight's live stream is to prove that we are not just these natives to America, that 98% of our people don't have African ancestry. We only have this American ancestry that Dane Calloway made. I've done a lot of the research that you're pulling up. I've done that statue I've seen associated with something else. But that was associated with what? Because this Camp Powhatan in the Virginia Library. The one prior. All right, Tamiqua. All right, now a lot of Moors try to use this, but this is a Tamiqua Indian, and this right here coming from the Jacksonville Historical Society. So y'all can pull it up. Okay, let's stop right there, family. Let's stop
please.
Let's stop right there. I wanted to play to the part where he reiterates this point. This guy is pseudo. He's a liar. Point blank, period. And oh, what's wrong with my camera? It did this again. My camera went out on me. All right, so let's share this. Let's get into this right here. Let's get into this right here. Let's break this thing down. That's how we do this thing, man. This is how we do this thing.
Now, as he pulled that up, y'all pay attention. Basically, what Brother Nyhiem is saying, pay attention to the picture that he was saying was this Tamiqua or whatever Indian that he was talking about. So pay attention to that.
Okay, so debunking the pseudo-indigenous teachings of legendary Top Cats. Again, I call him legendary Top Cat. I took a screenshot of this image to put in this PowerPoint because I was making a rebuttal to this guy because he's just a pseudo. He's a pseudo. So this is the image in question. We heard him say that this was the Tamiqua. This is how they depicted themselves. This is how they looked. You heard him say it the first time, and then you heard him say it again with confidence. With confidence. So let's read something real quick. This is called the Green Vault. It is a museum located in Dresden, Germany, which contains the largest treasure collection in Europe. The museum was founded in 1723 by Augustus the Strong of Poland and Saxony, and it features a variety of exhibits in styles from Baroque to Classicism. The Green Vault is named after the formerly malachite green painted columns based on the capitals of the initial rooms. It has, it has some claim to be the oldest museum in the world. It is older than the British Museum, opened at 1759. So on this same page of the Green Vault, it highlights one of the main pieces in its museum. Voila, the Moor with emerald cluster. So this guy says that the image that we see was a Tamiqua Indian, and that this is how the Tamiqua, using his pronunciation, depicted themselves. But this is a Moor with emerald clusters in the Green Vault Museum in Germany. Let's get a little deeper into the research here. The symposium, Moor with Minerals. There's a link at the bottom of this howbayesian.eu.articles. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want people to know that everything that we use is sourced. It says, the innovation was Kirsten Bottle, research assistant in Dresden, in order to shed light on the various art historical approaches through the intervention of the artist Bertrand Bard. You know, it's just giving you a breakdown of what this particular symposium is about. And one of the objects of study at this symposium was this particular Moor. You see it in its German rendering, M-O-H-R, there on the screen. So let's read what it says. It says, it was important to clarify why both nouns, all right, this ideal person, comparable in size to a human model with which children can play in a doll's pram, has all the exotic features that one could imagine in the days of Augustus the Strong, who commissioned the sculpture. So a man named Augustus the Strong commissioned this sculpture. The color of the skin, the selection of the tattoos, the jewelry, the healthy posture and shape correspond to a type of person that you don't need to worry about even for our present day. So I guess they're saying he wasn't a scary Negro, I'm guessing. So the white European conqueror is out of responsibility and does not think critically about any looting. Basically, this is how we're going to depict these people that they're not scary Negroes. So y'all go in there and loot anything that y'all want to do. They're happy-go-lucky, as the image shows. Basically, you know, he got a smile on. He's basically a servant, right? So let's get into the next part of this. Oh, my bad. I'm going the wrong way. So here is Augustus the Strong. This is the man who commissioned the sculpture to be made, right? Elector of Saxony, German, you know, 1706, 1697 to 1706. Remember, legendary Chief Top Cap said that the people, the Europeans, when they first come to America, the Spaniards come to Florida, right? Isn't that what he said?
That's what he said.
And basically, this artifact was something that was retrieved by these people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
He's a damn liar, man.
He's a liar, right? So, you know, this is Wiki. And then, you know, some people are, Wiki is an excellent source for general information. It's not a source for you to use to do a collegiate dissertation on, but to give basic information is okay. But I always kind of go to backup sources. This is the Britannica online. Just giving you more information. This dude was born May 12, 1670. Yada, 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 right?
I got something.
Okay, definitely. I mean, you wanted to get into it now, or?
Yeah, just because it goes to the point that you're making right now. It's a screen share that you need to see. It's a simple Google search, right? Just show this.
Right, hold on, because I got to come out of.
No doubt. I just want the people to see what comes up when you type in Moor with emerald cluster. Right? He said the Moors are the ones who try to use this Indian image to claim that it's a Moor. But when you just type it in, like, we don't create the searches, right? It said you type in to the Google search Moor with emerald cluster, and let's look at what comes up, right? This is what comes up. The same exact statue that this guy tried to claim was an Indian.
Right.
With these African features. If you look at the face of this particular, let me go into this one image right here so you can see the face, the actual phenotype of this image that he's trying to claim is an Indian. Let me know if y'all can see it. Hold on. I hope this thing comes up right, man. I hope this comes up right.
Man, that looked like my Uncle Carl, man. For real, man.
Hey, let me say real quick too to Lionel's thing about where he said he saw it from in the voodoo shop. Like the modern day Santeria and Lukumi people use this image of this Moor too as a representation of Shango in the Ifa or the Santeria tradition as well. That's why you've seen it in the voodoo shop.
Nope. Moor stole it. Moor stole it, and they trying to steal Indian history and make it seem like, you know, that this, like, so first and foremost, like Ali said, Moors didn't create these search engines. The Moors didn't hack into the hard drives or on the mass servers and put all these images up and make people say that they're Moors. You got a whole white woman in the background over there looking in Google-eyed over the Moor. You understand? We didn't say that these were Moors. But you want to see, the problem is you doing what you indicting the Moors for doing. You trying to say that we still in some history, but you the real thief. Legendary, big thief, top clown. That's what you're doing. You understand? And we just here putting out the facts. You understand? That's all we do at BTP. When you come into BTP, this is Freeman University. Nothing but the facts.
Right. And I want to
another Indian. Look at this.
No, go ahead.
Look at this Indian real quick. More on the beautiful Indians. Excuse me. They got that wrong. They said Blackamoors, but it's really an Indian. Look at that. Look at that Indian. They go that same Indian. They go that Indian again. There you go. There you go.
These guys are bugged out. All right, I'm gonna go back to the PowerPoint because I want to get into what he said about that remember the Jacksonville Historical Society, y'all. Y'all remember that. Remember he had matter of fact, hold on. Let's go to that real quick. Let's pull that up. Remember this. The Jacksonville Historical Society. He said, if you go to the Jacksonville Historical Society, this is what you're going to see.
Yeah.
Right? This is what pseudos do. So let's show you what happens when you go to the Jacksonville Historical Society.
Let's look at what they got. The Tamiqua. Like
he ought to be ashamed of his goddamn self.
This is what happens when you go to the Jacksonville Historical Society, family. This is what it looks like. This is what they show. This dude is a liar. This is the image that's on the Jacksonville Historical Society website. Go to it right now, and it's going to break down their appearance. These are original images from the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't your ancestor, legendary top cap.
Nope.
This ain't your people right here.
Nope. Right. Water don't even beat off her hair.
This ain't from your lineage.
Nope.
She ain't from your line.
Nope.
That ain't your big mama and them.
Nope.
Come on.
You a capper.
Not a king or a girl.
Let's get into real quick. Let's get into the source of these images. The French of Fort Caroline and the Tamiqua of Florida, because I believe that's how you really pronounce the name. And it says, selected engravings by Theodore de Bry after watercolors by Jacques Lemoyne de Morgues, artists with the French expeditions to Florida under Jean Rabault, 1562, and I'm going to try to say this French name, and René Goulien de Ludenin.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, him, right? Published 1591. These are the images that they show of these people. These are the people this artist went with, this French. Remember that legendary top cap said it was the Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Remember that, y'all.
Right.
Because Ali Bey said, which Europeans are you talking about? No, it was the French. This guy's a liar.
Does he ever know what he's talking about?
Huh?
Does he ever know what he's talking about?
In his world, he remember his tagline is, I'm the best that ever did it and got away with it. But you ain't getting away with it here. I told him that when he came on that night.
Only
you ain't gonna get away with it.
Only a thief or a criminal's trying to get away with something.
That's what I'm saying. Only a criminal
to get away with it. Yeah.
These are more images. These are color renditions of the same images from 1562.
Mm-hmm.
These are actual images. These were the actual images that the artists depict. Requests made of the chief by women whose husbands have been killed in battle or carried off by diseases. Look at those men. Do those look like black people to you? Does that look like the man? Does that look like the bejeweled Moor? No. No. He's a liar. Let's go to the next one real quick. Preparations for a feast. Look at these men. Now, mind you, some of these European artists may have been used to drawing a lot of Romans, so some of their depictions may look Romanesque. But one thing we know for certain is they knew how to draw a Negro and depict a Negro. You want to know how we know that? Because August the 2nd was born in the 1600s and was king, in I believe it's in the 1700s or something to that effect that we showed. And they had depictions of Moors in statuette form. So they knew exactly how to depict a Moor, top caps. Now let's get into this real quick. But dude, we don't need to play it. Y'all want to play it when he talks about this guy, or just get into it?
Man, hell yeah, play that.
Okay, let's play it.
Because people need to hear ignorance in its raw form, and so the education can be better.
Let's play it.
But look at what this, while you pulling that up, listen what this brother said in this comment section. It's quite hilarious. First of all, his name is three of them, the God. I don't understand what that even means. And it says it took a team to beat this man. We're just educating, brother. We're not even debating this man. He's not worthy of a debate because he's not a scholar. What we're doing is educating him. We're not beating him. This ain't no competition. He has nothing but a mountain of lies. That's nothing to compete with. What you're witnessing right now is education. You don't even know the difference.
Right.
That's a fact. I don't know what you even talking about, three of them to God, because he knew that we was coming on tonight, and instead of trying to come here with his blindsided information that he know we've already dissected and digested and crapped out and flushed down the toilet, he knew he couldn't have the same effect that he had the last time, and then run around Clubhouse saying I beat up your whole crew. Stop it, you a liar, dude.
Let me say why. Can I say why this is important?
Come on, man.
We all know these people are clowns, and you know what I'm saying. I tell Ali all the time. I tell all the brothers all the time. You know, man, there's plenty of stuff I could be doing. You follow what I'm saying? Plenty of stuff that I could personally be doing, than worry about some clown talking about he's Big Chief Wampanoag from the hood, right? Mm-hmm. I could care less about what those guys say and think about themselves. But I want to tell y'all why is this important. It's important, man, because basically these guys are trying to make themselves knowledge pimps and knowledge superstars at your expense, right?
Yes.
And not only at your expense, but at the expense of you moving forward with really truly discovering and basically finding out who you are and your Freeman legacy and the legacy of you descended from the institution of slavery, and even if you desire to connect it back to the continent if you want to. These people are ruffians. They are crooks. Like, I mean, Nyhiem went and he broke down. This brother was saying that this was from the Temecula tribe or whatever the hell he said. And Nyhiem just proved to you all, right, that this thing just basically was made by some European aristocracy with jewels and gold. And when you study like Moorish iconography and Moorish jewelry, you'll see that Europeans depicted Moors in expensive jewelry and expensive artwork all around the continent of Europe, depicting the people who at one point made incursions into Europe and ruled them for like 700 years. So instead of being honest and talking about where this come from, this nigga put the excuse my language, y'all.
No, you know what? That's what he is.
So this fool come up there, make a little presentation and say that this is a Native American tribe, and then he tried to connect it to the Jacksonville Historical Society. This is what y'all dealing with. So
that's right. Look, Grim, let's get through this real quick, Grim.
Yeah.
Because I want to expose.
I want you to pull up Sleeping Olmec's comment.
Yeah, I see it. I want to expose something here. Let's listen to the rest of this crap.
Mm-hmm. And it depict them, it lets you know their color, it lets you know their customs and everything.
No, wait. I've done the wait. No, come on, y'all. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. Because we already debunked his lie. So let's go back to his lie.
To this Camp Powhatan in the Virginia library.
The one prior.
All right, Temecula. All right, now a lot of Moors try to use this, but this is a Temecula Indian. And this right here coming from the Jacksonville Historical Society, so y'all can pull it up. And it depict them, it lets you know their color, it lets you know their customs and everything.
Wait. I've done the research. I know for a fact that there were what the Europeans called Negro tribes in Florida. Remember, New York tried to hijack the identity of one of those tribes called the Yamasee.
Exactly. Yeah, you familiar? Okay, so you familiar with the Yamasee?
But this stream is not about were black people in America.
Okay,
that answers your question.
I heard y'all say something else about the 5 civilized tribes having slaves too. I can correct that for y'all too. I can help y'all with it.
That means you would have to correct the history of the people that
no problem.
Slaves. Sure, go ahead. Let's see.
Man, I don't know. Y'all probably never heard of me, man, but I'm the legendary Top Cat. I teach Black Indian history, man. I'm the best that ever did it and got away with it. Let's walk.
You never been here, but let's go. Let's go.
All right. And so up here, this is who everybody depict as who is the Native American, which is a plain Indian. It's what they call a plain Indian. You can type it in on Google, PLAIN Indian. Okay.
Hey,
this
Nyhiem,
is who
he wants
the
you to drop
Europeans
the link,
end up
bro.
making the model in the face of Indians through literature and through art. Google it, it'll tell you. All right, when you look up,
I got him. Let me pause for a minute. I got him because see what he wants to do now is he wants to be disruptive. I already know his whole MO. He's not going to try to come and debate. He's going to try to come and disrupt. So let's get through the presentation, and then we're going to definitely bring this dude, legendary Catz, on.
And let me tell you something. He's going to be brought on as a student. People,
that's a fact. He's not on nowhere on a level.
This is a problem in our community. You let these unqualified individuals who have no scholarship under their belt come amongst you and portray themselves as master teachers of this pseudo goofy shit, and then you elevate them well far above their potential. This brother has been elevated far beyond his potential. You're not coming on BTP as nobody that can debate none of us. You understand? Because like Dr. Clark said, we only debate our equals, others we teach. So when you get the link, you coming on as a student, and as soon as you start talking that foolishness, you're going to timeout because we don't play. You understand?
Facts. So let's get through this. I want to point out something.
Here, this is Bill John Baker. This is the principal chief of the Cherokee Indians. How can this guy right here be the principal chief of the Cherokee Indians, right? All right, and so you pulled up something earlier, and I seen you pull this guy up. This is John Ross, the chief of the Cherokee. Now, it's important to pull him up because he was the chief for 40 years of the Cherokees. Now, when you talk about slavery, these are the people who had slaves, the slaves, all right? Now, this guy right here, John Ross, the son of a Cherokee mother and a Scottish father.
Wait, hold on. So all of the 5 civilized tribes then were white men, the heads.
No, I'm not saying they were white men. Now I'm about to explain what happened. When you get the 5 civilized tribes, now you just told me you was familiar with the Yamasee. Now the Yamasee had upper and lower Yamasee. Okay. Now the 5 civilized tribes is something that was made up that went under the jurisdiction of the United States in the Treaty of Hopewell, the Treaty of Towson, and the Treaty of Tellico, 88, 86, 91 Towson, 94 Tellico. The Cherokee tribe was created in 1794, the Cherokee government. Okay, that's just a word out of the language called Shalaki, which means people of fire. Okay, now it was hijacked through this line through Scottish and Ireland people. Okay, so this guy right here was Irish. He was 1/8 Cherokee. Didn't speak the language of nothing, but he ruled it for 40 years. How is that possible? Now we go here, this article here, 18th.
All right, we can stop right here. I wanted to point out.
How it was possible because they was coons. That's how it was possible.
Coons.
I want to point out. Something, and then we could go in and we're gonna bring Top Cap on. Now, this is the Chief John Ross that he showed. Mm-hmm. This is a younger picture of him, a depiction, painting, and an older actual photograph of him. You know. Now he said he's on his live channel right now. I bet one of y'all won't. Let's pull his comment up just to show y'all he's a capper.
Bro, listen. How are you live right now and commenting in our chat? That don't even make sense. This is clout chasing at its clumsiness. I've never seen a more clumsier clout chaser. This man is tripping over himself every step of the way. You live right now, so don't you got some teaching to do, some business to do, but you're live, yet and still you in our chat talking to us when we're live. You don't have what are you doing? This dude is clout chasing at its most thirsty. He's thirsty. That's what his name should be.
Is he going to take the debate with logic or what? I mean,
no, he already said no.
Nah, man.
Said no.
So
he don't want none of this.
If he comes on this channel tonight, he has to say that he's taking the debate with logic, man. That's what he has to say.
Fact.
That's right. But see, let me remind the people again what he does. He comes in rooms on Clubhouse and disrupts those rooms. and then he leaves those rooms and will make a room with the same exact name, and then go in and pull people in those rooms so that he can start spewing his indigenous nonsense, right?
Yes. Yes.
You know, so let's get back to this, right?
Yeah.
There's a point that we gotta, like, let's just deal with common sense. Let's see.
Let's get to this John Ross thing. Let's get to this.
Yeah, let's set this up, man. This is,
you know, because this is ridiculous, right? This John Ross guy, you know, he was the chief of the Cherokee. The claim made by legendary Top Caps is that these people were black. These Shelaki, as he called them, the original name of the
he can say Shelaki, but he steady calling the Moor Tamiqua. Come on, man.
Right now, this man is half Cherokee because his mother was a Cherokee and his father was an Irishman, right? This is something that Top Cap pulled up already. If his black Cherokee mother, y'all see where I'm going with this? Got with this white man, the father of Chief John Ross. Is this the result?
Nah, come on.
A full-blooded European man?
Right.
Somebody else.
That dude looked like any other Confederate. He looks like
any other Confederate, and that's exactly what he was. And the Indians were that as well.
That's facts. They raised
his nephew.
Nephew.
This is his nephew, William Potter Ross. Look at him. Look at him. These people have no Cherokee Negro blood that Top Cap is talking about, because they, from what we know, were breeding with the slaves, like the Europeans on the slave labor camps called plantations. They weren't doing that, so far as we know. They used them for slave labor. This is an actual image of that same nephew when he's older. He's an older European. Look like any old other Confederate. Any old other Confederate. This is taken from slavery.princeton.edu. It says, even as Ross, this is the nephew, completed his last years of studies in 1842, his family was forcibly removed to Indian territory on the Trail of Tears, a journey that killed his aunt Elizabeth Quady Ross, among many others. So we can deduce that Elizabeth Quady Ross is the wife of John Ross. I mean, the wife of John Ross, his uncle. After graduation, Ross joined his family in Oklahoma, where he became an officer of the Cherokee government in its new capital of Tahlequah and an editor of the influential Cherokee Advocate newspaper. Like his uncle, John Ross, William Potter Ross owned slaves and published several editorials on the issue of fugitive African Cherokee slaves in his paper, writing,
but wait, what kind of Cherokees? What kind of Cherokees were these slaves?
Oh, it says African here.
Yeah.
And they got the name Cherokee in the same way we got our last names. It says, he said in his quote, "It is high time that some things be done toward regulating such property in the Cherokee County." Whoa. Regulating such property in the Cherokee County. It is not our place to discuss the right or wrong of slavery. That it exists among us is a matter of fact and existing. They should know the relations they bear to freeborn citizens, meaning the place of the Negro is in slavery. So it is impossible to claim that legendary Top Caps makes that these people were the slaves and the enslavers at the same exact time. Not only is it silly, let's pull this back up again. Not only is that notion silly, if these were black tribes, as this guy claims, if these were black tribes, How do you let white men who have come into your native land, if you're claiming to be indigenous,
Those are called
gain such a
Indian Sambos.
gain such a foothold that you let this man right here take over your black tribe and then go and enslave what? Other black Africans, as they called them in their records? They knew where the slaves come from. You people are confusing. You're idiots. You're running around trying to be big Chief Buffalo Wings, and Rising Phoenix Sweet Puss, the sisters that follow this nonsense. But we got to get this stuff up out of here.
Yes. Another thing we got to touch on is because he made this other silly claim that the freedmen, talking about the descendants of former enslaved Africans, the freedmen got Indian land from the Homestead Act. Let's
talk about it.
We got to talk about that too.
I got it pulled up.
Okay, let's go.
I'm ready to talk about it. And see, and that is a perfect segue to some more of this indigenous babble that we got to straighten out. Right? That's all it is. It's indigenous babble because it's all scattered. It's not well researched. It's misrepresented and barely understood. You understand? People like Dane Calloway and Top Clown, you know, their information and their knowledge is insufficient and their position is inferior. You can't fuck with the freedmen, bro. Why are you trying to do that to yourself? So what they said is that, and they want to foster this claim and bolster this claim is that, you know, it's the Indians' land. They stole the land, and you know what the land that the freedmen got was really the indigenous land of the Indians and shit, right? Come on, check out what the Indians did, family. So how you steal some shit that you done sold to somebody? Let's talk. Let's go down nation for nation. Chickasaw and Chickasaw. The Chickasaw and Chickasaw nations had a single Reconstruction treaty. The Chickasaw and Chickasaw Treaty of Washington, 1866, in which they sold land west of the 98 longitude to the United States for $300,000. Much of this land was previously leased, right, to the federal government and was the home of other Indian tribes. So even when you was living on the land, you leased the shit to the federal government because you're doing business, right? Then you when shit got hectic, right? You sold it to them for $300,000. Got your. That's not stealing. That's called a business transaction, right? Cherokees, you know, they more scrupulous. They got a whole bunch of, you know, white folks up in their nation and shit, right? Running shit for 40 years and whatnot. Cherokee gave up their neutral lands in southeast Kansas and the Cherokee Strip to be sold to the highest bidder. They just auctioning shit off. But you talking about we stole it for no less than $1.25 an acre. They also agreed to sell land to the Osage Nation and to allow the federal government to settle other tribes in the Cherokee outlet in exchange for payment made by the government to the Cherokee Nation. These motherfuckers is some sinister. The Cherokees is the sinister of them all. They like, you can go resettle these other Indian motherfuckers over here too and just pay us a little bit. We'll let you do that. He mentioned the Muskogee Creek. The creek ceded the western half of their lands to the federal government for $975,168, about 30 cents per acre. Seminoles, they talking about the Seminoles, right? The made up black Indians. The Seminoles sold they shit too. The Seminoles sold all of their land in the western part of the territory for 15 cents per acre to the federal government. The Seminoles then purchased from the federal government about 200,000 acres of land, the current Seminole County, Oklahoma, for 50 cents per acre. So they sold, these motherfuckers ain't even that smart. They sold their shit for 15 cents and then bought it back for 50 cents. Then you got the Osage. The Osage Nation originated in the Ohio River Valley in present-day Kentucky. After years of war with invading Iroquois, they became the dominant power in the area between the Missouri and the Red Rivers. The Reconstruction era treaties are agreements between governments, right? Okay, Not the same thing that me and my ancestors got going on. The Reconstruction era treaties provided an excuse for the Osage to be moved to an area in Oklahoma Territory. With the 1865 treaty with the Osage, the tribe sells significant territory in Kansas and Missouri to the U.S. for $1.25 per acre. The Drum Creek Treaty of 1870 provided that the remainder of the Osage land in Kansas be sold and the proceeds used to relocate the tribe to the Cherokee outlet. The Osage purchased the land from the Cherokees, receiving free simple title, provided the tribe with legitimately. The latter allowed them more autonomy when the state of Oklahoma was formed. The land purchase is now present Osage County, Oklahoma. So we got several nations of Indians selling their shit. And now you want to come talk about, well, the 40 acres and the mule and the parcels of land that they gave to the freemen really belong to the Indians and shit. Hell no, the Indians in the same year of where the Freedmen Act was actually passed by legislation. I read that at the beginning of the show. The people that you say is your people was selling y'all shit. You understand?
That's right.
Selling it.
That's right. And that's
who he want to be, yo. That's who he want to be. Them motherfuckers.
That's who he want to be. He don't want to be. He don't want to be a part of the greatest people that ever lived in American society and arguably the greatest people in the world. He don't want to be a part of the freedmen, the real freedmen, the true, authentic freedmen, not these synthetic freedmen that they trying to sell you today. Well, under this indigenous babble. You understand? He don't want to. They want to steal the legacy. They operate just like the oppressor. You understand? They want to steal you. This Dane Calloway fellow said that Harriet Tubman was a production of fiction, that she don't even really exist. This is what this nigga Dane Calloway said.
I hope y'all heard that. I hope y'all heard it.
So if Dane Calloway's position is Harriet Tubman don't exist. So if Harriet Tubman don't exist, Frederick Douglass can't exist. And if Frederick Douglass don't exist, John Brown don't exist, right? So now you got to just start wiping motherfuckers out from history. You remove Harriet Tubman, you got to knock down all of the damn stations on the Underground Railroad. So now the Underground Railroad don't even exist. See, this is what happens when you allow yourself to be enamored by this foolishness in this indigenous babble, which is ultimately absolute nonsense, right? So when we talking about the real freedmen, we talking about Prince Rivers, Robert Smalls, we talking about Hiram Revels, we talking about courageous men and women who actually created civil rights, because there was no civil rights prior to 1866 in this country, that our ancestors, the true freedmen, the true Americans, you understand, actually produced in this country. Then years down the line, you got tribal members fighting for civil rights. How the hell
they didn't even have public schools in this fucking country until the freedmen came.
Talk to them now. They ain't even have public.
Hey, look what they doing. Look, look what they doing. They're flooding the chat with arrows and all of these arrows because they want to be. They so dumb that they want to be Indians, right? So they're flooding the chat with flames and arrows. Yeah, so I guess it's a bunch of troll pages, right? So, but this is what they do because this is a tactic being used. Look, this is a tactic used.
That's good. I like it because guess what? But that's fine because look, y'all want to trade in all this legendary history for bow and arrows and shit, and buffaloes and teepees. We got the greatest output my ancestors' history up against anybody who ever existed. You understand? You want to have, first and foremost, let me talk to you about the indigenous people and how just their constitution compares to my ancestors' constitution. When the Europeans came over here, the immunity was so weak on the indigenous people, half their population fell out and died and was eviscerated by the Columbian Exchange. You understand? So they could, when they brought chickens and horses and dogs and shit over here, the Indians couldn't even fuck with that. They just fell out and died. You understand? They took our people. Right. The same land that we here in America, that my ancestors came and parlayed into the most powerful nation in the history of the world, the so-called indigenous people had the same shit the same land, the same fertility. It was even more fertile because the Europeans came up and with crop corrosion, because they don't know about crop corrosion, rotation, they destroyed the land. And my ancestors still parlayed so much wealth and created a world power in America. And you had teepees and bow and arrows and shit running around over here. They ain't built no America. My ancestors built in America. Then y'all lost the war. Y'all tried to fight the Europeans. You lost. And then they gathered you up and relocated you. And then y'all had the opportunity to make agreements and treaties with the government, and you still crying. Then the same people that you say is your nation told you y'all don't got enough blood to fuck with us. And now you want to come talk to my people and tell us we some indigenous people. That is babble. You understand?
Yeah. Let me add to that, Brother Logic, what you said, man. That was an excellent breakdown, right?
Wait, somebody said we not Dane. Y'all worse than Dane.
You're worse than Dane.
Or just as worse.
Let me say something. Let me say something.
Tell Carrie Bay he could come on if he wants.
Yeah.
Let me say something. I think I know Carrie Bay. I think I know that brother, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I'm gonna keep it moving. The bottom line is this: when you study like the history of, I'm going to say particularly Louisiana, I'm going to use that as a case in point. During the colonial times or whatever, when they was coming over here to colonize, a lot of these colonial or the colonists and their ambitions were basically stifled when they came over here to these territories. Some of these people came over here, mosquitoes ate them up and shit. They went back to Europe and said, hey, we couldn't do it. So what they started doing was a lot of them went to the jails of Europe, started going to the jails of Europe, got Europeans, they couldn't do it, right? So they started enslaving Native Americans, right? And then they figure out, God damn it, we couldn't do it. This is actually in the history books dealing with like some of the first settlers in Louisiana. So what ends up happening is that they say, well, damn it, they went over there to Africa and they went over there and they started getting this, and this colony blew up. Louisiana blew up after they start bringing Africans over here. Economic. You follow what I'm saying? Because they found a strong and ingenious people over here, over there in Africa, and they was going over their walls. So some of our people were selling us over here. So basically, this place blew up, and what civilization came out of that? And not only that, the people that came from Africa, they merged our culture with the culture of the French and created Afro-Creole French culture, which now people come all over the world from Louisiana to basically experience that Afro perspective that the slaves and the freemen created. You know, you follow what I'm saying? So a lot of these people coming in the chat, y'all know when BTP really getting, y'all remember Tone did what he did to our thing. When people come and start putting arrows and hatchets in the in the chat box, that's when you know that you are getting them with the truth, because they don't come and debate or whatever. They come and they basically harass the other people who want to learn, because they want to be Native Americans, and we busting that stuff up. Now, if I can, I want to go to something real quick, because I think Sleeping Olmec said that, do we believe that?
No, go ahead.
Huh?
No, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, they basically were saying, do we believe that blacks came over here, or came over here, I don't want to say aboriginally, but came over here pre-Columbian time? We never denied that. But what we are saying is that those people who came over here did not become the Creek Indians. They did not become the Cherokee Indians. You follow what I'm saying? those people, even though you deny it, that's two different people. You follow what I'm saying? We are different from that. And some of our ancestors that, or whatever, or some of the Africans, because when you talk about them coming here, you are still talking about an African people and not a Native American one. You got some of those people who came over here pre-Columbian, they were Muslims, right? Because they got like inscriptions on stones where they put the Shahada and carved the Shahada into the stones. Now, you talking about somebody who came over here pre-Columbian, who was a Muslim, following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, right? Now, all of a sudden, he gonna wake up one morning and he gonna be talking about the Great Spirit and he's a Native American? Wouldn't he have continued his Muslim religion? You follow? And let's deal with a lot of this indigenous stuff. See, a lot of the ancient black.
Wait, hold on, bro. I want to get legendary Top Caps on here, but I want to know what y'all want to do, right?
I have
get him on here for what?
We got some questions.
Logic? Is he going to debate logic?
Yeah,
he don't get to come on here and bring all of his little rain dancing niggas into the chat, and they get to troll for hours, and then he get to come up here and talk. You don't got no platform. If you was on live stream and you had some people to teach, you would be over there teaching this indigenous babble. But that's you motherfuckers, right. Y'all don't eat the cultural food. Y'all don't got maize. You ain't growing none of that shit. If I brought you some collard greens and some fried chicken, y'all be some collard green fried chicken eating niggas. Stop playing games. Y'all don't do none of that shit. Y'all like to talk about that so y'all can be attractive and you can clout chase. Y'all don't do none of that shit. Y'all eat watermelon, fried chicken, collard greens, and all that good shit that my ancestors came up when we didn't have nothing. You understand? We parlayed miracles out of nothingness. The Indians had all the shit. They had all the land. They had the bow and arrow. Hold on. Let me stop 1 second. First and foremost, let's stop with this preschool shit, even referring to them as Indians. First and foremost, there ain't no Indians over here or aboriginal to nothing. You understand? And that are native to nothing over here by no name Indian. And the only the Americans that you have is my ancestors. The true Americans are my ancestors. You understand? Because first and foremost, none of them 500 nations of people referred to this land as America when anybody got over here.
That's
and
right.
None of them referred to themselves as no goddamn Indians. You understand? You disrespecting your own so-called position when you refer to yourself as some shit like that. You understand? Because you're not no Indian and you ain't no goddamn American. You understand? Because America was created with the foundation of this republic, with the Union of the United States that my ancestors helped create. My ancestors ratified the Constitution, fought in the Revolutionary War, saved it and preserved it through the Civil War. You understand? Gave birth to civil rights in 1866, and all the Civil Rights Act came from my people. You understand? You don't get none of that. We gave that to you. You should be thankful. You should be coming here and say, thanks, BTP. Thanks, Freedman University, for this good-ass education, because y'all don't do none of that. Y'all sending all them tomahawks and bow and arrows and shit in the chat. None of y'all probably don't know no archery. You ain't never scout no goddamn body. You don't know how to make a fire from nothing. You understand? Right. You don't know how to stand and field dress right. buffalo. You don't know how to build no damn TP. You don't do no rain dancing. Don't know how to speak the motherfucking language. You don't know how to do none of that. I'm
hyped. Let one of them niggas on the thing, man. Come on, man. Let one of them niggas. I got some motherfucking questions, man. Put them niggas on the goddamn channel.
Yeah, and if they do come on, you ain't asking us no questions.
Yeah, y'all not asking no questions.
They getting prosecuted. Somebody gonna speak the motherfucking language. Somebody's gonna break the culture down. Somebody gonna tell me what motherfucking reservation they live on tonight, nigga. We're gonna hear it. Let them niggas.
All right, there go the link. The link is in the chat. We want Top Caps to come through first. We're gonna go with the first thing that I started on the debunking part. That's gonna be the first thing. No, matter of fact,
hold on.
The first thing has got to wait. The first thing got to be the question: why won't you debate logic? That's going to be the first.
Yeah, that got to be the first. Then I want this nigga to go into the creation story, the cosmology and the cosmogony of his people, from the root to the fruit. I want him to tell it to me in my language, which is English, right? American English, and then I want him to retell it to me in his native tongue, since this nigga's so indigenous.
All right. So
damn it, come on.
We got top caps on right now. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to this, right?
Hold on. We don't play hide and go. Hide and all that peekaboo shit. Bring yourself up on the damn platform so people can see who we talking to.
Nigga, you ain't running nothing. Line that shit up. Who first? Who getting out there first?
Nigga, I am running this
all
shit.
Right, but what's up? What you talking about, Logic? No, Logic. Hey, watch back now, Nyhiem. Hey, Albert, get back. Let me get this nigga Logic.
Let me get this nigga. You ain't getting nothing until you bring your ass up on and people can see who we talking to. We don't play that peekaboo shit. If you a man, show your face like a man. I'm not gonna be playing these little kid games with you. You can't even show your face, but you want to bark at me. Hey, Chief, running, whatever. Go get your face together. I don't know if you look crazy or what, but get your confidence up first. You're doing a lot of barking. You ain't even gonna show your face, nigga. What's going on? Come on here, correct, and understand this. You don't run nothing when you on here. You understand that? You came on as a guest.
A guest.
Fuck you talking about?
Talking about when they got to North America.
All right, so look, let's play this, and we're gonna go back over what we went over earlier, and we're gonna ask Top Cap to explain himself. Let's go.
Okay.
North America. Okay. So that's very important if we're talking about the people specifically in North America, all right? And so the first people that they bumped into was the Tamiqua people. And now this is their statue. This is how they depict the people. Now, when the British first got here and settled in the colony of Virginia, named after Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen, they came with the company of the Virginia Company of London. All right. Later, the Stuart family, King James, and them ended up taking over their company. And later, his grandson started the Royal African Company.
Okay, no. Look, this is good. I see Mike Easton in the back because he didn't bring no sources, but he's co-signed. Right now, I don't know if you're confusing what we're saying here. I'm not sure.
All right, let's all right. What you need to be clear on, what need to be edified.
The purpose of tonight's live stream, I want to get to the second part of where he brought up we are not just these natives to America. That 98% of our people don't have African ancestry. We only have this American ancestry that Dane Calloway made. I've done a lot of the research that you're pulling up. I've done that statue I've seen associated with something else. But that was
associated with what? Because this Camp Powhatan in the Virginia Library.
The one prior.
All right, Tamiqua. All right, now a lot of Moors try to use this.
Tamiqua.
This is a Tamiqua Indian. And this right here coming from the Jacksonville Historical Society. So y'all can pull it up. And it depict them, it lets you know their color, it lets you know their customs and everything.
Wait. Okay, so let's stop there, family. Let's stop right there. Y'all heard what he said.
I want to know what fucking reservation this nigga live on.
No doubt. We gonna get to that. We gonna get to all of that. But let's do this. Let's do this, right? He said that this Tamiqua that they show was on the Jacksonville Historical Society. He said, look it up. They describes him, etc., etc. Initially, when he first started, he said this was a statuette of the Tamiqua, that this is how they look when the Europeans came to Tamiqua, right? When the Europeans came to Florida. Now, remember, I went here. I showed the actual image, an actual picture of this person. Then I went to the place where this statuette is being held at the Green Vault in Dresden, Germany. Then I showed the name, the Moor with the emerald cluster, not a Tamiqua. He lied. I showed the discussion, a symposium that they had in Germany on this particular statuette. I read, and let me read again. It says it was important. This is from that same website. It was important to clarify why both nouns were crossed out in the title of the intervention. This ideal person, comparable in size to a human model with which children could play in a doll's prime, has all the exotic features that one could imagine in the days of Augustus the Strong, who commissioned the sculpture. The color of the skin, the selection of the tattoos, the jewelry, the healthy posture and shape correspond to a type of person that you don't need to worry about, even for our present day. So the white European conqueror is out of responsibility and does not think critically about any looting. Then I showed you Augustus II. Born 1670, died February 1733, right? Then I'll just show several sources. Then I went to the site where he said go to, the Jacksonville Historical Society. And this is what they show, where it says Tamiquin, right? Let's use his pronunciation, Tamiquin appearance. I guess he had to change the name as he changed the image. This is what they show, right? This is what the females look like.
Hey, Nyhiem.
Wait, hold on, Grim. Then I went to the show, the French of Fort Caroline. Did he not say it was the Spaniards when Ali asked him which Europeans? Didn't he say the Spaniards? These were the French that came.
That's what he said.
And then he said that when they got there, they seen this image right here. And this is how the Tamiquin depicted themselves. But this is the Moor with the emerald cluster that was commissioned to be sculpted by this man, Augustus II the Strong, who was a German. And that artifact is in the German museum. The Tamiquin never owned it. They never made it. This dude is a liar. So now we're going to bring Top Cap on.
Hey, man, Black White say, man, that nigga live in apartment C.
So we got Top Caps on. So the first things first. Answer up for the claim. Huh?
No, that's not.
No. Let's chill. Let's let him rock.
The first thing,
let him explain himself.
Let him rock. So
that's some goofy shit.
Why did you say
you play peekaboo and shit with the public? You can't be like everybody.
Bro, why you trying to check me out, Logic? What you got going on? You over there flipping your wrist and shit, my nigga. Talking about turning the camera on. What you got going on?
Okay, so you want to be one of
your wrist and shit, talking about turning my camera on.
You want to be a faceless man. You want to be a faceless man. Hood with the people, so don't nobody know what you look like.
That's a distraction. Okay.
Let me share my screen and get this work in.
No. You ain't sharing no screen.
Answer up.
You gonna speak? No, nigga. You gonna speak your indigenous language on this channel? Speak your language, nigga.
Now,
see what I'm saying? That's
now here we go. Here we go. This is the statuette, the sculpted image of the jeweled Moor, legendary Top Cat. I'm bringing you back on the stream. Why did you tell everybody that this was a Tamiquin? And this is how the Tamiquin depicted themselves. This was a Tamiquin statue made by Tamiquin hands. Here you go. Explain.
Can I share my screen?
No.
Why y'all scared?
No, you're not sharing.
Hey, hold on, everybody stop. Everybody stop. Hold on. This how this go, bro. Nyhiem asked you a question. He asked you, why did you say that this image was a Tamiquin Indian when it's actually the Moor with emeralds? Why did you tell that lie? Explain that, and then we'll talk about your.
Yeah, then you can bring up your screen share because I see. Wait, hold on. Let me pull this comment up. Where is it at? This dude, Todd Mayak, said this is a whole setup. Y'all whack for that, bro. So wait a minute. Because chill. We don't do whack over here, bro. First and foremost, this man made a claim. We brought him on so that he could answer for the claim. We played it. You heard it. Like, what are you on, bro? You whack. You trying to tell me that this man shouldn't be responsible for the words and the presentation that's coming out of his mouth and the things that he is demonstrating for others, you whack, fam. So now, legendary Top Cap, I'm bringing you back on. Why did you teach the people that this was a Tamiquan statue, that this is how the Tamiquans depicted themselves, and that the people could go to the Jacksonville Historical Society and find that this description on the website and possibly even find this statuette in their society? I'm bringing you back on. Show and prove. Why?
Yes, sir. Man, I love that question. That's a beautiful question, man. And that's why I am who I am. You know what I mean? So the reason why I said that the Tamiqua depicted themselves like that, because this is truly how they depicted themselves. They wore the gold trinkets around the knees. They wore the gold tip arrows. They were gold miners, and they wore the gold plates. Unless you can find me somewhere else in society that they actually wore the gold plates in the same fashion as this this depiction right here is. Then that's a conversation I think I would love to hear.
Okay, but, wait. No.
It's impossible for you to pull that though.
Hold on, brother.
Wait. Let me question.
Go ahead, Grim.
I would love to go in. Legendary Top Cat, man. Glad you come on. Oh,
yes, sir. Good to be here. Good to be here.
All right. Here's the thing. You said that was a Tamiquan Indian.
Yes, sir.
And what you just said now, basically, contradicting what you're saying. Because if you believe that, why didn't you go find the original depictions of Tamiquan Indians and put them up there? Why did you go and find a depiction that was made by a European in Europe? You're right, that was describing Moors to describe Tamiquan Indians.
But look,
that's a beautiful question.
Wait. Hold on.
I'm loving the question tonight.
Hold on, brother, because I gotta address something else that you said. You said that the jewels that the Moor wore could be found on the Tamiquan Indians. You basically tried to slither your way out of it, but you can't slither up out of here. No, we don't see any depictions where any of these people wearing any of that jewelry that you're talking about. You're making this stuff up as you go along, brother. All of this stuff is right here. Here's the source, family. Here's the source right here. The French of Fort Caroline and the Tamiqua, which I believe is what the pronunciation is, but we'll use this term, the Tamiqua of Florida, published in 1591. There's a link there. You can all pull it up. These are the plates, family. These are the actual, from the plates of the actual drawings of 1562 and 1564. So this idea, because this statue right here, you don't see any of these people wearing any of these jewels. And the name of this statue is called the Moor with the Emerald Cluster.
That's a
you
fact.
have whole
That's a
symposiums in Germany. Like, we're pulling up the receipts. We're not making up stuff. We're not using rhetoric to try to sound good and sidestep the conversation. Now you get a chance to pull your receipts up and show and prove your claim right now.
Okay, so I get to share my screen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
oh, yeah.
All right. Yes, sir. All right, man. Y'all, you are now rocking with the best. All right. This brings us to the French colony of La Caroline, near the present day of Jacksonville, Florida. The French noted that the Tamiqua Indians,
Yo, stop.
Hey, man,
Let
me work, my nigga.
Stop.
No, let him go. Ali.
What you running for?
Mute this nigga's mic.
Bro, we just sat here listening to you. Let me work.
Yo, mute this nigga's mic. If you're not going to show the Tamiquan Indian looking like that statue, get your ass the fuck out of here.
When he was on the first time,
you mad about last time?
It ain't no mad about last time because you didn't do shit last time. The last time you came on here, you was talking a bunch of irrelevant bullshit that didn't have nothing to do with what we was talking about.
But wait, didn't he say
let him do his thing, y'all? I'm pretty sure, man, we could chop it apart.
He jumped off because he's a clout chaser. That's all he is.
Man, I would have loved to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Yeah,
I would have
bring him back on.
Yeah, let him come back on.
Let him do his little screen
Yeah,
share.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Look, y'all. This is what his people go do. His people go say we ain't give him a chance to talk. I would love him to share that shit and let's chop this shit down.
But this is what I'm saying.
We ain't no different than the Cherokee Nation and the Chickasaw Nation because they don't give them niggas no time to talk neither. So you want to come over here talking this shit to me, and I don't want to see your picture, nigga. You should. The people deserve to see who's educating them. It's an integrity thing. They all know we can turn our screens off anytime because everybody that come to this channel know who we are. Too many of our people have been tricked and swindled by people who want to hide in the shadows and don't want to reveal who they are to the people and don't want to be honest. I don't do dishonesty. So if somebody come on here and they don't want to reveal themselves to who they are, why would I be supportive of someone hiding in the shadows trying to educate the people?
Hey, look, here's my thing. I would have loved for him to come back on and do his thing. And then we could chop it up. That's just the bottom line. We ain't gotta cut him off because he's saying let him get all this bullshit out and let's chop it up. That's the bottom line, gentlemen. I mean,
but we don't even know who we talking to though. This could be anybody.
You're right.
Some white man. It could be some white man somewhere.
Yeah, so man.
Tell him to come back on.
Yeah,
tell him to come back on, man.
Tell him to come back on, y'all. All y'all.
I won't say that. I promise.
Now you got to think about this too. Our ancestors were using muskets with bayonets on them. These clowns in the chat posting up Indian arrow. Y'all are so backwards thinking that it's ridiculous.
Let me say something, y'all. I ain't said nothing this whole time. Let me say something. We come from the people. You can't find another people on the planet that have a story more courageous and inspirational than ours. You know, when you think about what we done been through and what we done built, what we produced, what we still are today, the culture that's revered around the planet. I mean, we want to try to talk about culture. What culture is the most revered around the planet? You got people, I mean, we influence the culture around the planet, period. And instead of people wanting to associate with that, instead of people wanting to associate with the people that are the vast majority of their ancestors associated with, their mama associated with, their grandmama and their grandfather and their father, they great grandparents or whatever associated with, you know, I'm speaking in general for vast majority of us. Instead of doing that, they want to pick one great or whoever, one particular person in line that may have had some association with one of these tribes. And again, we don't even know if the association was that of a slave, that of a, you know, some type of you know, person that was raped. We don't know. We don't know the association. So we don't want to associate with Europeans because they were slave owners and rapists. But we'll go and pick the ancestor of a Native American tribe that may have been a slave owner and a rapist. And instead of associating yourself with the greatest story that's ever been told in America, a lot of the story hasn't even been told. We want to associate with that one out of, let's say you got 16 great grandparents, 16 great whatever, you go back and you got, after that it grows exponentially. You're going to pick the one or two out of that instead of picking the other 62, you know, that was descendants of freedmen. That don't make sense, man. That just doesn't make sense. And just to think that why our people want to do that, it's the same reason why people want to attach themselves to be white. Why the same reason why people, I mean, it's the same mentality. You gotta associate yourself with something that's other than, because that you thinking that's gonna bring you some type of remedy, or that's really where it's culture. Look, it's people that go hard to be a part of our culture, the culture that we didn't build here in America in the last 2 centuries. And you trying to go back and connect. Hey, you know, everybody has the right to whatever identity they want to have. Just understand that there's a cost to abdicating this freedom fight You know, by you getting off the road to justice and equality for our descendants of freedmen in America, and you getting on the on-ramp to some tribe that rejected you from even having citizenship, you know, there's a cost to that. So we gotta, I mean, I don't understand why we even get distracted by that. And again, everybody got the right to have whatever identity they wanna have, but it's a very distracting type of thing when we're trying to get our justice claim adhered to, and people think that, you know, instead of identifying as a freedman and fight for reparations, you want to identify with some type of tribe. It's crazy because I don't even hear them talking about identifying with the freedmen of them tribes. That doesn't make sense to me. Can y'all explain that to me?
I can't explain none of that clown stuff that them clowns be talking.
They only use the freedmen, the freedmen Cherokees when it's convenient to them to show a picture like, oh, see, this is how they originally looked, you know. And that's all there is to it, man. And the bottom line is this, man. Basically, what you have is a bunch of descendants of freedmen, people who descended, because, you know, man, I used to be just like all them people in the chat. I used to be, well, you know, like Top Cat, you know, Washington this, you know, Indigenous that. We all were at one point.
He said drop the link. Let him come on. So Grim, this is it. He said he dropped the link. So come back on, Top Cat.
Yeah, come back, man. I want to hear this bullshit, man, and I want to be able to respond to it.
Now, before he comes in, I want to show something real quick. This is from the other pseudo Native American, indigenous Indian clown, Dane Calloway. He blocked me on Twitter because once we jumped,
he did block you.
Yeah, he blocked me. He probably blocked all of us because once we just start coming with them freedmen receipts to refute this lie that he said the terms freeman and freedman. Let me pause for a second because it's spreading like wildfire right now. It is a history that cannot be denied. There's certain ambiguities when it comes to slavery about who was a slave and all of this stuff. There's certain, you know, things that are ambiguous outside of our people, right? But freedmen, there's no ambiguity when it comes to who the freedmen were. That link is in there, Top Caps. Dane Calloway said the terms freeman and freedman had nothing to do with slavery in America. Freedmen had nothing to do
from
with, what? Had nothing to do with slavery in America, nor was it used to describe the so-called quote-unquote free slave. These terms were strictly utilized to describe believers of the Christian faith only. For example, the word friend originally meant a Quaker. You see how dumb? Like, yo, we got to call this for what it is.
This
is idiocy.
Hey, yo, check it out, right?
Idiocy.
We already broke it down on the previous show that only 15% of our people practiced the Christian faith out of slavery, right? And it took a long time before that started to really spread. So out of 4 million, only 15% at the high end was actually practicing Christianity. So when we just read legislation, like actual legislation, referring to the freedmen from emancipation, we read arguments from the Senate in the House. We read the disagreements and the veto message from Andrew Johnson talking about freedmen and emancipated slaves. What is Dane Calloway talking about? He's just, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why I have a deep appreciation for scholarship, difference of opinions, and things of that nature. I don't got no problem with that. But what I don't have no respect for is liars, shiftless grifters who want to create fiction and then try to pose themselves as some type of scholar and authority when I actually care about the people. And when these people are misleaders, they are trying to fleece the sheep. Everything they say is about boosting themselves. Everything they say is about uplifting themselves and what they trying to do for themselves. They not trying to do nothing for the people though. So I don't have no respect for that. If you're not coming with the like, this is the same person who said Harriet Tubman don't even exist. Whoever is related to Dane Calloway, somebody please check on him. The brother is obviously mentally ill and he needs some help. Somebody need to call that man. Check on him now.
All right, yeah.
We got
him in.
Yeah, well, he left because I guess he think we supposed to bend to his will and rules.
He left again?
Yeah, he think we're running we're on Clubhouse where these dudes get to, you know, basically say what it is that they want to say and control the room. But somebody from the chat is, oh no, there you go. There you go. He's back on. Okay, Top Cap. Hey, you back on.
And I'm gonna mute my mic.
Bro, why y'all be riding Dane, bro? Dane better than y'all. Why y'all be doing that? Y'all know y'all can't see Dane, bro.
Okay, so back to the Tamikwa Indian, right?
Yes, sir.
To the Moor, the jeweled Moor.
Okay.
That you said was a Tamikwa Indian. We got it right here. We got the research. Sure. We got the research that shows that this is a German creation by a German king. You said, and I can play your words back again.
Yes, sir.
Of what you said, that this was a Tamikwan Indian. Then
it was
you
a depiction.
You
Did
just
I say a depiction.
Oh, come on, bro. You said it twice.
Let him go. Let him go.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said this was a depiction, and you even quoted that. So I appreciate you for being honest and quoting it.
Okay, so wait. What is a depiction? Break down a depiction.
Man, come on, bro. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. Y'all already wasting my time. If we ain't finna get through this, bro,
what is a depiction?
Do that, nigga.
What is a depiction?
Man, listen to me. I'm gonna tell you something, Lord Elvis.
Okay.
My time is valuable, brother.
You ain't, man, your time ain't valuable.
Hey, Nyhiem, let him go. Nyhiem, let him go, bro. Let him go.
He not saying nothing, bro. He talking about his time.
Let him go. Let him go.
Go ahead, Top Cap.
All right. So as I was just showing you niggas, I mean, my bad. All right. And so as I was just showing you, I love to share my screen, bro, if I'm able.
Go ahead, share your screen. Because we want to know how, and we want to see how what you're going to share proves that image is a Tamikwan Indian. Because that's what you said.
No problem. I understand.
Or even prove that it's a depiction of one.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Okay.
Anytime. I'm waiting on you.
Yeah, we got this other brother, Carrie Bay, in there.
Yeah, no, stay focused, brother.
Chill. We run this over here, bro. This ain't Clubhouse. We got this other brother, Carrie Bay, up here. After Top Cap goes, we're gonna bring him on. We're gonna serve him up next too. So you sit tight, brother Carrie Bay. All right, what's up? What you got?
All right. The Tamikwa Indians met at the mouth of the St. Johns River, had several types of gold objects, including large gold plates they wore around their necks, gold trinkets that they wore around their knees, even gold-tipped arrowheads. All right, so we come over here. My main man right here has the gold plates, okay, and he also wears the gold trinkets on his knees. All right, let's walk. Okay, you know the Jacksonville, then what you did is just pull it up. And so I came there and I showed you right here when we go to native appearance. I think you read that out, so I appreciate you being honest.
No.
Go back to that source, bro. Go back to that source.
Go back to your source. Go back to your source that you was reading from.
Nigga, don't worry about my source. Don't worry about it.
No, you can't do that.
Nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Look.
Let him go back to the source.
That's what we're trying to get him to do. Go back to your source. Don't get disrespectful, bro. Just go back to your source. Cite the source. Not
all
that one.
Insults, man. That don't bother me. Go back to your source. Where'd you get it from?
Don't worry about it, nigga. Do you see where it said right here? Nigga, they wore large gold plates. And then we can go here. Here's another depiction of the gold plates that they wore on their chest. And so my question to y'all is, well, like we read earlier, this was a depiction of the Tamikwa people.
No, it wasn't.
What was it?
Hold on.
So what was it then?
What's the source?
I gotta put it.
Wait. Nyhiem.
Hey, look. Yeah,
Hold on, Nyhiem.
Grim.
Hey,
Top Cat. This is Grim, bro. You are the legendary Top Cat. You beat them all, as you say, and you telling me that you can't give me the source of what you read from?
All right. So who next?
No, what's the source?
So who next?
What? No, Grim. Grim is next. I'm next. What is the source, brother? I
gave you the source. We just
went through it. Okay, you gave the source. I'm next.
Thank you.
I'm next.
What's the source? What's the source?
Nyhiem next.
All right.
Wait. That was your claim about the Tamikwa people.
Nyhiem, what's the source? I didn't hear it.
That was your claim about the. Hold on. Are you telling me that the Tamikwa people didn't wear
what's the source?
Gold plates and gold trinkets?
What's the source? Nyhiem, what's the Ali? Did you hear the source? Logic. Did you
I didn't hear the source.
Bro, hey, I ain't come here to do nothing that I ain't have to do. Okay. We got you niggas out the way. All you niggas out this square.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Y'all square right now.
What does that even mean? I ain't come here to do nothing I ain't have to do. That's that old nigga babble. What are you even talking about?
Come on,
I didn't come here to do nothing I didn't have to do. What you have to do when you come on here is
let him go.
You don't know what you're talking about, nigga. Talking about, hold on. I don't know. I'm just not that type of dude. I'm from Chicago. I don't got enough stomach for bullshit. I can't let a nigga bullshit me all goddamn night. Come on,
hey, no, let him present. Let him present.
He not. I'll put him in the back because this is what he does.
Let him present, bro.
Yeah, wait, hold on, Grim. I've been dealing with this brother.
I know, bro.
Right, but what he does is he's not trying to get something out.
Grim trying to get something out.
He's not trying to present.
Hey,
he's just trying to talk junk.
Trust me. Let that do
it. Let Grim get at him. Let Grim deal with him. Nobody else
like I said.
Just let Grim do it.
All right. So what's up on this John Ross? What was your point on that?
Now talk to Grim. Talk to Grim. Talk to Grim. Go ahead.
Any one of y'all can answer. What was y'all point on this John Ross? I heard y'all spent y'all whole Saturday thinking about me, right? I was in you guys. Yeah, I heard y'all spent the whole weekend, dedicated the weekend to me, and this is what y'all brought out here, bro. It's sad, and it's that many of y'all. And y'all
see, that's why I didn't want to let him talk, because that's all he want to do. No, Grim,
Grim. Stuff needs to be documented.
Grim, hold on, bro. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to this dude talk this nonsense, bro. I'm not gonna do it because this is all he wants to do. He doesn't want to get into no real information. He can't prove that this German artifact is the depiction of the Tamil. That's what I'm waiting for.
I get it. I get that though. But I would love to have this dude come on and make the rest of his claims. I mean, you did the John Ross stuff, so you could address the John Ross thing. But man, I would like to get this dude talking his stuff. If we not go talk to him, get Carrie Bay on, and let's
get Carrie Bay. Let's get some adults on.
Carrie Bay dipped off.
Bay dipped off. People out past their curfew. Children are acting up in this space.
Yeah, man. But here's the thing. Let me talk real quick to the audience. The bottom line is this. You all have seen this stuff. Nyhiem basically proved to y'all that he used a Moorish artifact that was made in Germany and said it was a Tamikwa Indian, the way he pronounced it. Then he went and found a description of some of the artifacts that the Tamikwans had, right? Why didn't he just show an original Tamikwan Indian from the jungle?
Right, there you go.
And the thing about it is, he showed a Tamikwan Indian with the gold breastplate, right? But the pictures that he showed was not a person of African descent in America.
None of the pictures. None of them pictures.
See, this is
a capper.
This is why I wanted you all to let this guy come on and see all the nigga stuff and all of that. It took all of y'all to do all of this. That shit don't bother me, man. I'm damn near 50 years old. That shit don't bother me, man. You know. So I mean, I've learned these guys go say all kinds of stuff on social media because they're not in your presence.
And the thing is,
hold on, Josh.
Go ahead, Graham. Go ahead.
If there was in your presence, it'd be a different story. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line to it is this. These people are denying archaeological and the historical records of millions of people who came from Africa, journeyed over here, went through chattel slavery for hundreds of years, and became what we know today as the freedmen, which we are the descendants of. These people have a horrible understanding, a horrible understanding of history, and it's rooted in the fact that people are basically ashamed to come out to say that they were slaves. So they say the slave trade never happened, and just I think Ali made a point saying that these people are basically black white supremacists, because that's the same thing that a lot of the white supremacists do. They deny that the Holocaust ever took place. So here, these indigenous Aboriginal people, they deny slavery takes place. So the bottom line that these people are basically black white supremacists. And I would love to have seen what he said, or whoever the next clown who want to come on and talk that stuff, because we can let these people talk, even though it's asinine. We could let these people talk and break them down point for point. I pulled out the pen, I pulled out the paper. I was gonna make notes of everything he said, man, and chop down it all, man. And that's all I got to say, Josh.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I would have liked to seen him get to something else, because where there's smoke, there's fire, and where there's one lie, there's probably some more. And I guess what this goes to show you is, we have to stop looking at people because they may claim to have some information that you've been lied to about, or they may claim to have some information that you didn't know about. They may claim to have some information that proves that what countless generations of scholars and even people themselves through ancestral knowledge already know. All of them people with the resources to actually do the research that ends up in studies that somebody might have manipulated and put on a website. Those people all are wrong. And then let's just say, even if that were true, how then you think you, with no scholars backing you, with not even thinking people backing you, none of those people are backing you, and you think you're going to change the history and the understanding of hundreds of millions of people in America, and let alone, we talking about the black folks that's rooted in this history through their family story, to be able to do, and then to do what? Are you fighting for reparations? What is even the goal? What is the play? What's the plan? So, because that's what we're doing with this Freedmen Project, is we are advocating and we're fighting and we're demanding from the government that the government redress our grievances. We have a $100 trillion gulf in wealth that is between us and white America, that is a direct result of years of chattel slavery at the hands of the descendants of slave owners and at the hands of the federal government. And we need that fixed. We need that solved. We need a long list of issues that plague our community fixed. And I don't see how we get that done if we're trying to do it through a whole bunch of different tribal nations and stuff. Again, many of them who won't even grant citizenship. So what is even the point of all of it? What is even the point of all of that, bro? Well, I don't even understand what the point. What are y'all trying to do? I don't see anything other than a few people just trying to build another cult-like following.
That's what
to get people to boost them up on social media because they may have some type of history that they didn't research. And this, I mean, we've seen elders that I shouldn't even say elder, old folks in the community, people like your Taj Tariq Bays and all those other people that did. Now the next generation of those people are coming, you know, following the same formula. You got your Dane Calloways, you got your young pharaohs, and maybe that's probably why Top Caps decided he wanted to big up Dane Calloway, because he trying to follow that playbook. And look, man, that's not how we need to be doing with our people, man. We don't need to be aspiring to be the next generation of swindlers and having us run around in circles. We need to be aspiring to be the next leaders of movements that's going to actually make a difference and move our people forward. That's all I want to say on that.
Indeed. I mean, you know. Let me see. So we got John Blackhawk. John Blackhawk says, I will agree with Top Cats. You guys know absolutely nothing about your actual history. Everything you got was given to you by the paleface, your identity, your language, your history. John Blackhawk, I'm putting a link in the chat.
Yes, please, John Blackhawk. Please come on.
Come on the stream and teach us our history. That's all you got to do. Come teach us our history.
Because if this is an image of him, which I doubt this is a real image of him, but if
put your camera on, Blackhawk.
Yes, yeah,
put your camera on, Blackhawk.
Come on.
Even if it is him, it proves a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Mulatto.
Yeah, man.
What's the Jeopardy? How the Jeopardy thing go when you waiting?
Oh,
come on, Mr. Blackhawk.
Oh man, you know, these people, and you know, it's hard, right? As we try to build, you get to people like this. You get to people like this Top Cap guy, and what he's doing is just like, I don't know if it was Grim or Josh said, he's trying to create a cult-like following. And I said this from just listening to him on Clubhouse. I think he's a clown. I don't think that he's serious at all. I was on a phone call today about somebody, I'm not going to blow this person up, that be on Clubhouse all day, every day, talking about they are black conservatives, they're Trump supporters, that we need to pull ourselves up our bootstraps and all of the usual nonsense that we hear from coons like Larry Elder and Burgess Owens, et cetera, et cetera. So,
John Blackhawk, where you at?
Yeah, where you at, Blackhawk? Now, come to find out, the brother wasn't knowing nothing. He said he had businesses set up, and the person was just giving me a whole rundown. So on Clubhouse, you get to be famous for just
Legendary Top Cat is back. So Legendary Top Cat, get the link.
Yeah, here you go.
Get the link and come on, because Brother Grim wants to talk to you. You knew that before you hung up. So don't try to act like you didn't know that Brother Grim was trying to talk to you with all of this. Y'all disappointed the people. None of that bull crap. The people is here to listen to you. Brother Grim wants to talk to you. Bring your ass back on and talk to Brother Grim.
So let's read his comment. Y'all disappointed the people tonight. How? We debunked your frivolous claim.
Showed that you was a liar.
We showed that you was a liar, a fraud, a capper. That's what we showed. So how did we disappoint anybody?
Go ahead, Grim. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ali.
I was just going to say, if you were trying to show what the Tamiqua people look like, you should have used an image of the Tamiqua people, as you call them, Tamiqua, which I know you're mispronouncing their name. But anyway, if you really wanted to show what they look like, use the image of the Tamiqua people. Yet you use the image of a Moor and then tried to turn it around and say that the Moors were liars for using the image of a Moor in the first place. What kind of BS? So, but anyway, I'll digress. Come back on, Top Cat. Do what you got to do.
That's all. But look, John Blackhawk says, I'm trying to help you.
You're not trying to help nobody.
You ain't trying to help us. I've been identified as Black, Afro-American, African-American. Okay, here's the link. I'm going to drop it in the chat again. If you're trying to help us,
Blackhawk,
come help us then. That's all you have to do.
Don't do it from the chat. Come talk to us. At least Top Cap pretended to try to do it. So
I already knew what Top Cap was going to come in and do. talk a bunch of BS, talk a bunch of nonsense. He's not serious. He's not a serious individual at all. He's a captain.
And that goes back into y'all know that I'm people-centered, you know? Like, we can have problems with all of these different individuals, like the ADOS and this, that, and the other, but you can't blame a Tone or a Young Pharaoh or an Yvette. You got to look at the people. Now, you know, like with Blackwatch say, this dude probably live in apartment C. But look how influential this guy is over young minds. Look how many people came in the chat and start dropping bow and arrows in there. And see, this is the danger of this poison information and this wrong information getting out there. You have people and they become emotionally attached to that. Because here, they was ashamed to be a freedman, ashamed to be an Afro-American, ashamed to be a Negro, right? And so what they did is they said, we Indians, as these guys teach them. Now, we saying that they not Indians and we taking something away from them again. So they gonna be mad. All right, Top Catz, what you got, bro?
Hey, I have a question. Have any of you brothers did y'all genealogy, made a family tree? Do y'all have family trees in y'all home?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you?
How far you? That's excellent, man. I love to hear that. How far have you guys gotten back?
In the 1800s. What about you?
1801.
1800s? Oh, that's excellent, brother. Some lines I got back to the 1600s, 1700s.
Show it. Pull it up.
Yeah, please show it.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah,
Ancestry.com should have all your family records.
Why would I pull up all my family records like you just asked on the internet, brother? Come on.
We pulled our family trees of shows we did in the past.
Okay, brother, I didn't catch that, so I wasn't here.
That's your fault.
Okay, well, here you go. Here you
go.
go. Wait a minute. Here you go. Right here. This is my mother. Wait, let me show me. This is my mother. This is me right here. This is my mother. This is my father. This is my mother's mother. This is my mother's mother and father. This is my mother's, not mother, my grandmother, their mother's father and father.
Okay, now I have a question.
So no, hold on with your questions. All the way up to an ancestor that I know for a fact that was enslaved by the name of Aaron Way. I'm still waiting for the information on him. Hold on. I'm not finished yet. Let me go to my pop side. This is my pop side right now. Okay, so there's his mother. The father is not listed. There's her mother. Father. The mother is not listed. This is their mother and father who are not listed. So there's a wall that's called, what is it, Ali? The 1860 wall, the wall of 1870 wall, because of slavery. When you understand certain things like the 3/5 compromise, et cetera, and who was listed on records as what and for what reasons and what purposes, then you gain a clearer understanding of why they started to keep records on even people who were enslaved at the time, right? But a lot of those records didn't make it into the census. So after 1865, when our people are freedmen and that next census come around, then our people are on the census. 1870, the census comes every 10 years. So I just showed mine right here, my mother's side and my father's side. Ancestry has all the records. Can you pull your family tree up right now? What you use? Ancestry?
Well, I actually have a family Bible. So
no. Yeah. So you never researched the
I have family tree.
His family Bible. His family Bible was fine. You would like to share it with everybody?
No, sir, I would not. I think I answered that at first.
You did?
Okay. Well, what else you got, Top Cat? Top Cat.
Okay,
what else you got?
Well, I actually have ancestral land.
I
actually have land that goes back further than Albert's tree. So I wanted to ask Albert, what are they? What ethnicity? Who are they? Where did they come from?
Come on, man. Hey, Carrie Bay, I'm muting your mic.
Wait, can I answer him?
I mean,
I'm going to say this about my tribal people. My tribal people are an amalgamated people, multiple ethnicities that make up who we are. Everybody with any sense knows that. That's not even a legitimate question. There are multiple people that make up who the so-called African American is. Many West African ethnicities, European ethnicities, as well as some Native American. So that's the answer to that question. That's pretty much the general answer for most African Americans. You already know that. So what is the next thing?
Turn up. I can speak.
He's not serious.
Well,
Carrie
I
Bay.
understand that.
Carrie, wait, hold on. Let's bring Carrie Bay in. Carrie Bay, what do you have, brother? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I really came on there because there was a lot of people. Yo, it seemed like y'all ganging up on the brother Top Catz. That's the real reason why I came up here. Let me finish. Don't cut me off. Let me finish. Now, my opinion as far as see all that right there. Look, my opinion on it is if you can't prove it, just because you don't have proof that it doesn't exist, that don't mean
researching.
Huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just because you don't have proof that it doesn't exist, that don't mean that that's fact. You understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of guessing.
I don't understand what you're saying, brother.
That.
I don't understand that.
No, let him go. Let him go.
I just don't understand. That's all.
I don't understand what he's saying.
All right, y'all finished saying y'all don't understand? All right. So if you look up, if you look up,
I'm looking up
fallacies of arguments. That's a fallacy of arguments when you say that something don't exist. So that means that's fact.
What are you talking about? No, I'm sorry. Get out of here.
No.
Don't do
it. Let these guys go. Let Nyhiem, look, bro.
We coming up on 3 hours, Grim. I'm not sitting here for 3.5 and 4 hours going at it with these dudes. Nah, bro, that's not happening. Let me show something real quick.
Hey, is this 23andMe?
The brother was basically proving that he didn't know what he was talking about.
That's right. And so get him out of here.
He proved it, yo. We didn't need another 30 seconds.
That's right. We didn't need to hear no more of that.
He did his job. He did his job.
He did his job, bro. Okay.
He did his job. Nah, you good, bro. Go ahead.
Here's my genetic chart.
I'm telling y'all, bro. I want to dissect these dudes, man.
Now I hear you, but ain't no need to. He already proved himself that he don't know what he's talking about. So here's my 23andMe. Yeah, Top Cap. This is me, Sheik Wayel. Everybody know who I am. Sub-Saharan African, 88.9%. West African. It gives the breakdown of my African ancestry, right? It shows that 9.8% European blood. I believe that comes from my father's side. My mother said ain't no Europeans on our side of the family. So now we get into East Asian and Native American. Let's blow this up as much as we possibly can. I hope I didn't blow it up too far out of. Okay, East Asian and Native American. So it says 1.1%. So the Chinese and Southeast Asian, I got some of that in my blood somehow, 0.5%. Indonesian, Thai, Khmer, Native American, 0.5%. Broadly,
now
Asian,
click Native American.
Let me scroll out. Reduce. Okay, Sheik, your DNA suggests that 0.5% of your ancestry, 0.5% of your ancestry is Native Americans. Period. And then it gives a history about the first humans that reached the New World, arriving in Northeast Asia 15,000 years ago, et cetera, right? 0.5%. That's it. Like, this is a science right here that's based on how genes were mapped. And once you map genes, you'll know that certain people got certain haplogroups. And I'm trying to find where the haplogroups. No, there you go. Ancestry traits overview. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. View your reports, traits. Like this. No, not this. This is not what I'm looking for. It's one that shows the place where you trace the oldest known haplogroups that you are connected to. Like, it shows that in my bloodline, I'm also related to Ramses II or Ramses III or something like that. I'm trying to pull it up. They kind of change. Oh, there we go. Maternal Let's go with my mother's side. Maternal haplogroup. Sheik, your maternal haplogroup is L2C. Migrations of your maternal line. This is science right here. This is the science of gene mapping right here. So it shows that the L starts in near the Horn of Africa and it goes to Central and to West Africa, which is the major composition of my DNA. This is science right here. This is not fraudulent. What's fraudulent is trying to tell a person which tribe that they belong to particularly. That's why the African ancestry thing came up under so much hot water, and people like these so-called natives, like Hebrew Israelites, want to take that and say that the science is flawed. No, the science is right and exact. That brother's trying to use it in the way that he was trying to use it to, whereas he could pinpoint the exact tribe where you came from. That was on trial and criticized, and rightfully so. So I want to stop sharing. Like, pull your ancestry up. If you are saying that you're Native American, that you're not from Africa, Top Caps or anybody else, you should be Dane Calloway. You should be able to do one of these tests.
Hey,
pull it up.
You don't even know where that test come from or who put the science down behind it.
Oh, God.
Obviously, you don't, bro. You won't be telling the people what you're telling them, family, and that's hurting us as a community, brother. You gotta stop that now.
Apple, let him go and let Grim rock with him. Just let's do it for Grim. Let Grim rock.
All right, go ahead, bro.
What else you got, Top Caps? Top Caps.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't hear you. What was that?
I basically said, what else you got?
Okay, I wanted to know what was the whole John Ross claim about. I say y'all had trouble with that. I'm here to edify.
No, we didn't have trouble with it. Basically, he's breaking it down. Basically, this is what it is in the nutshell. Basically, the John Ross guy is not one of us.
I agree.
That's the thing that he broke down, right?
Well, let me
go ahead, Nyhiem.
Let me say, it wasn't that I was saying that he wasn't one of us, more so than saying that if the Creeks, the Cherokee, were Negroes at the time of John Ross, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. That's
okay.
What I'm saying. Yes,
and
sir.
He was half Cherokee and half Indian. I pulled up an image. Let's go back.
Half Cherokee, half Irish.
Excuse me, half Cherokee, half Irish. My bad.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Whoever helped out on that.
Let's go back to this. Let's go back to this, right? We pulled up that there's no quote unquote Negro blood in this man. This is his nephew, John Ross. No Negro. Look, this is a depiction, but this is an actual photo of him. No, let's blow this up. No Negro blood in this man at all. So if they were Cherokees having babies with Cherokee women, then they would have been producing mulattoes, people that are light-skinned today that look like Mariah Carey or what's her name?
Oh, okay.
You don't know my name.
Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting these claims from, brother?
You said that the Cherokees were Negroes, correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Oh, if John Ross was half Cherokee and half Irish, then he would have some Negro features.
Well, he wasn't. Okay.
So hold on. I'm gonna let you go, bro. On my word, I'm gonna let you go. Let me read this. Like his uncle, this is from the nephew Ross. Like his uncle, John Ross, William Potter Ross owned slaves and published several editorials on the issue of fugitive African Cherokee slaves in his paper. African Cherokee slaves in his paper, writing, this is his words. It is high time, that something be done toward regulating such property, talking about my ancestors, in the Cherokee County. It's not our place to discuss the right or wrong of slavery. That it exists amongst us is a matter of fact and existing. They should know the relations they bear to freeborn citizens. So now I ask you this question, and this question can help you not only qualify, but quantify your claims. Are you telling me that the Cherokees were black people that had black people enslaved with white Irishmen mixed, because he don't look Negro at all, got Negro blood in him at all, were running these particular tribes.
Man, I'm so glad that I'm here and I'm able to help my brothers out of dark.
Oh, good.
All right, so when we did it with John Rouse, he was actually 132. Who was the guy that you had on the chair who was sitting down? What was his name again?
That was his nephew, William Potter Ross.
Okay, William Rouse. Okay, are you familiar with his mother? You know who Will's mother is?
I believe it was the wife of John Ross.
So he was his nephew or his son? You said
a nephew. I thought I said nephew.
So the wife of John Rouse was his. How would that be John Rouse's nephew?
No, bro. You're not gonna do that. Answer my question. Answer my question,
brother.
bro.
I'm trying to get an understanding.
See, this is what I'm. See, brother Grimm. This is what I'm talking about. This dude is not serious, bro.
Is that if it's based on falsehood, which it is, he in the perfect place to get the stuff dissected. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir. And I'm hoping we can help each other and we can come to an understanding. Right. Are you familiar with John Rouse's mother? Would you happen to know who she is?
Well, who is she? Who is she? I don't know who his mother is.
I don't care.
What about his father?
Well, go ahead. Are you gonna tell us who his mother is?
Let him. Yeah, we don't know. So are you gonna tell us?
I mean, if y'all come out here with presentations, bro, and y'all don't have nothing to back it, bro. So y'all haven't even really studied anything then, right? Y'all don't know who nobody mom and dad is.
Hey,
we don't
know it. Mr. Top Caps.
Graham, did you spend all Saturday with them putting this presentation?
Let's just
removed again. See? Like, this is what I'm saying. This dude is not serious.
Let me read something about this Ross man, right? Something that's actually somebody might learn something from. All right, so we talking about a very important person because we talking about the Cherokee Nation. We talking about slaves. We talking about freedmen. Let's read some actual history instead of just doing this, question game, right? By 1861, the Cherokee held about 4,000 black slaves. During the American Civil War, the Cherokee Nation was divided between support for the Union and support for the Confederate States of America. Principal Chief John Ross originally adopted a policy of neutrality in regard to the Civil War and relations with the opposing forces. In July 1861, Ross and Creek Chief, not going to even pretend I know how to say that, but it's Opothleyahhola, attempted to unite the 5 civilized tribes in an agreement to remain neutral, but failed at establishing an intertribal alliance. Ross and the Cherokee Council later agreed to side with the Confederacy on August 12th, which is my birthday. That's crazy. 1861. On October 7th, 1861, Ross signed a treaty with General Albert Pike of the Confederacy, and the Cherokee officially joined the other nations of the 5 civilized tribes and established a pro-Confederate alliance. After Ross's capture by Union forces on July 15, 1862, and his parole, he sided with the Union and repudiated the Confederate treaty. He remained in Union territory until the end of the war. Now, I just wanted to read a little bit of actual history to help people recover from all of the foolishness that was just, we wasted about 20 minutes on. So that's actual history of this man. He was talking about asking us, did we know his mama? We say we don't know his mama. He say he come to educate us, but he don't even tell us who his mama is.
Basically, that was filler, man.
Yes, so I don't understand what type of intelligent conversation we're supposed to squeeze out of this thing when a man tells us that we don't know nothing, comes in and only asks us questions, don't do no educating. Say he's going to straighten us out. Say he's going to teach us. But when he comes on here, all he has is questions. Now, either we teaching you, right, because you asking all the questions, or you think that we your students, and that can't never be the case, because we're not on Top Cap show asking Top Cap questions about his lofty wisdom about comic book knowledge. You understand? So you came on our show, and for the brother who said, I feel like y'all are jumping him, nobody forced he knew how many people was on here and what our positions was before he came on here.
Wait, so, and he said
You can't get mad at somebody who willfully comes into this arena and then you say, oh, he got jumped.
And he said, wait, Logic, let me say real quick. And he said that he came on BTP before and beat 4 of us up. I did. I beat all of y'all up. That's not a fact. You didn't do. I played the video. You did nothing.
And tonight, bro, y'all spent all Saturday and weekend for this. Hey, don't I know that girl you just put on the screen, bro? Didn't I help her find her ancestors and shit, bro? And she out here talking shit about me.
You ain't answered one question yet. Look, this
find her ancestors.
What you say, Ali?
Now let's keep it real.
It's very telling. I wanted to talk to him.
He'll be back. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, nigga, I am about to go. Nigga, I'm about to get out.
Hold on. I got a question.
Wait. It's very telling that
you mad. Go ahead, Ali. My bad, bro. Go ahead, bro.
It's very telling that this girl that you claim you helped is now talking crap about you after listening to what happened here tonight. Even though you think it came off one way, obviously people listening to it who have some degree of sense understands it for what it actually is. It's a circus act that you're presenting here. The fact of the matter is you've been proven to be a liar. You used bad information trying to pretend that it was good.
Hey, bro, come on.
No, hold on now. Wait.
Don't rant, bro.
I'm telling the truth. You use bad history trying to pretend that it's good.
What bad history did I use?
The fact of the matter is you used an image of a Moor and tried to present it to people as if it's an image of some Tepiqua Indians.
It was a depiction of Tepiqua Indians. Yes, sir.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
That's a lie. We showed that it's a lie. The people have enough sense and they can see for themselves that it's a lie.
Did the Tepiqua people have a relationship with the Moors, Ali?
Oh my God. Now you're changing the conversation. You see what I'm saying? This is a tap dancing thing that you're doing here. You don't want to answer his question. You deal with him.
Let me answer his question. Nyhiem, do me a favor, brother.
What's up?
Give me that German man who commissioned that the building of that Moor with the emerald statue, if you can. Hold on 1 second, Top Catz. I want you, because I want to ask you something and I want to prove a point to you.
There you go.
Right. So what dates, man, we got? Was 1600?
Yeah, he was born 1670, died 1733.
Now when did he commission that statue?
I don't know what. Let me see.
If you go to the Moor with the emerald, right? Because I'm proving the point.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, go ahead, bro. I'm gonna see if I can find if it's a
all
date.
Right. No problem. So here's the thing: the brother asks, "Did the Tepiqua and the Moors have any relationship?" I'm gonna say no. No, they didn't have any relationship. You follow what I'm saying? Because the Moors.
Again, bro, I think you need to leave this conversation alone.
No.
Yeah, if you don't have that knowledge, I think you need to leave it alone. You about to get in trouble.
No, they did not have a relationship. You follow what I'm saying? They did not have a relationship. What you are talking about is Tepiqua meeting any black people who may have been in the area due to being freed or escaped. What you are talking about are marooned Africans. Now, when you talking about Moors, you are talking about subjects of the emperor.
No, sir, I'm not talking about marooned Africans.
Now, here's the thing. The people that you call Moor or Moorish and who may have been subjects of the emperor of Morocco, they would have been Islamic.
No, sir, that's not the same.
Yes, no, you let me finish. That is the same thing. The people who are Moors were people who are descendants of the people of North Africa. They were of the black race. They were Islamic. You follow what I'm saying? And they followed Islamic dress, Islamic habit, and everything like that. Now, this man commissioned this thing in the 1700s, right? Way overseas. Why are you going to grab an image, right, of someone way overseas that they say is the Moor with emeralds? Nyhiem broke all the information down to you. Why you go grab something that was made in Germany talking about a Moor for somebody who's living in North America named the Tamiqua Indians or whatever you call them. Why couldn't you, Top Cast? This is a question. Why couldn't you use the image of the Tamikas or whatever you call them? You follow what I'm saying? Why you didn't use their image? Why you went and grabbed? Because see, these Germans and Portuguese and all of these people were influenced by the Moorish Islamic civilization. The Moors invaded Europe. Am I right or wrong?
All right, bro, you guessing. You're not right, bro. You guessing. I can help you out though.
So you saying that no, hold on, guys. So you saying the Moors of North Africa didn't invade Europe? You saying I'm guessing about that?
Bro, we talking about Florida, bro. Come on.
No, I'm asking you a question. Are you saying
I don't
that
know
I'm
what you're talking
about that?
I don't know what you're talking. I'm talking about Florida.
Okay, let's continue. Continue.
Please.
So you are using an image made in Germany of a Moor. These people were influenced by the North African Moors who made it all the way as far as the Pyrenees. You follow what I'm saying?
Hey, what was that guy's name?
So basically, let me finish. So basically, these people made Moorish statues, Moorish pictures, Moorish brooches. You can pull it all up online. And the Moor with the emerald was nothing more than a manifestation of Europe's fascination with the Moors of North Africa. So how does that relate to the Tamiqua Indians that you are talking about in Florida, sir? I'm waiting. Okay, no answer.
All right, my bad. All right, I'm back on the screen. All right, so check it out. Now you said, how does that equate? Are you familiar with the Huguenots?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when the Spanish came, did the Moors come with the Spanish to Florida?
The Moors came with the Spanish in the Spanish habit. They didn't come.
Say it again. Wait.
No, listen.
Now I'm trying to listen. Nigga, say it again. What you said?
I said they came in Spanish habit. Do you know what I mean? What that mean? And stop calling me a nigga, because if I find you, I'll put my hands on you.
Now you want you to die too. Yeah.
All right, it's over, man.
Nyhiem, don't do that, bro.
Bro, it's 3 hours, man. I'm about to get up off this piece, bro. This dude is wasting time. That's why he's want to use nigga. I'm kicking this dude out of here, man. Get out of here.
Man, I was breaking it down.
Now, I know. Look, Grim. I already know, bro. This dude is a grade A clown, and that's why he does that. That's why he wants to use the N-word. I've been peeped his MO. He want to call people niggas. He want to curse. He's not serious. This dude, he hasn't proven anything. People in the chat saying, "Oh, it's not fair. Y'all not letting him get his stuff off." We bring him back on so he could get his stuff off. He doesn't prove anything. He pull up something. We ask him for the source. He doesn't even want to give the source before going to something else.
You got to remember, our people, we dealing with a serious condition with our people. You got to remember, many of our people followed that was the members of what would they call it, People's Temple. They followed a whole European man down south, and they named Jim Jones.
Jonestown, Guyana.
Right. So if some of our people, sadly enough, they out to lunch. And it's a lot of out to lunch cult followers that just take Jim Jones juice and they'll die.
Here's the point that I was going to make about what he was saying about the Moors came over here with the Spanish. And Ali talked about this. Those people, they didn't come over here dressed as no Moors. Some of those people probably were Moors or whatever in race, but they gave up their Islamic culture. So they wouldn't have came over here wearing no breastplates and stuff like that, like in a depiction, or even dressed like Arabs. They would have came over here dressed like Spanish conquistadors. You follow what I'm saying? They would have been, and the Moorish conquistadors who came over here, even the ones that came with Columbus, they came basically pushing European imperialism. That's why they were conquistadors. They were the conquerors for Spain and Portugal. You follow what I'm saying? So that's basically the point, you know, before he got cut off. That's the point that I was going to try to make. But yeah, man, you brother's right. The sister was right. He's just an antagonist. And I'm glad we just gave him a little bit more time so I could break that much down, you know?
Indeed. And it wouldn't have went any further than that, because that's all he does. Now he's going to go on Clubhouse and say that we treated him unfairly after we gave him chance after chance after chance. Get out of here, man. You ain't serious at all. That stuff you talking about is BS. We asked you for your lineage. I pulled mine up because the records in the United States of America are clear. We all got records.
And look, somebody said conquerors for Spain. After conquering Spain, you got to realize that the Moors failed. The Moors failed.
That's basic history.
So some of them were allowed to stay. That's where you get the terminology Morisco. These are people who basically converted to Christianity, to Catholicism. A lot of those Moors joined Christian Catholic brotherhoods. So, but the ones that kept their Islamic identity or their Moorish identity was basically kicked out of Granada and went back into the interior of Africa. You follow? You follow what I'm saying? So here's the thing with that. So somebody posted that that's why some of those people were conquistadors. A lot of those Moors who was on them ships with Christopher Columbus, they weren't none of our brothers and our friends per se. Those are people who were subjugated, who basically stayed under the jurisdiction and the powers of the Spanish government.
You know what's very interesting about that fact? Because since they brought up what was happening in Moorish Spain and the Moorish Spanish conquistadors, including the navigators and captains of the Nina Pinta and Santa Maria, right? What is interesting about that? The question was, they conquered Spain, then they helped Spain to conquer. You got to know history from 1492. I mean, from 711 AD to 1492. But that's not even the point I want to make. The point I want to make is there's a lesson to be learned in that history and in the history that's going on right now. So what you had was a lot of amalgamation going on when the Moors is in Spain for almost 1,000 years, right? They was having babies with a lot of European Spanish slave women. And so these younger Moors they would grow up and they started, a brother, he loved his mama and he feels a certain way about his mama, and then time progressed. So after, people, every nation rise and fall. So now we speed up history. You get a civilization of people kind of like now who look at that quarter of their European mother, that Spanish mother, and say, I feel like I'm Spanish. You understand? Just like you, even though they don't look Spanish, You understand? They look like their fathers and whatnot. They don't look Spanish, but they say, I'm Spanish because that's why I feel like that. And I love my mama so much and I want to be like her. And so there was a false deification of white woman's image in Moorish Spain. And so now you had these young brothers coming up into nobility, but what they did was really have that love for their mom, that Spanish mom. Right. So they was bastards of nobility and they made deals with the European governments. Right. And so now you have to look at how does that compare today? You got these same brothers like Heathcliff and Garfield and Top Cat and them coming in here telling you that there are people who, because there's a history of amalgamation in there. And so these people have fallen in love and false deified the minority representation of who they are. And they want to elevate that, and they'll even help overthrow you and I, and they will steal the legacy, you understand, of the majority of our ancestors and claim all the glory for themselves. That happened in Moorish Spain. You had people doing that then, saying that, and look at it. He pulled up pictures of people that don't look like him, don't look like his mom, don't look like his daddy, and say that that's him. You had people in Moorish Spain doing the same thing. They would after history go down, they'll find out, well, hell, my great grandmother was a Spanish white slave, and I'm Spanish. You understand? We're like, well, I'm Spanish too. And so now you got a community of people that feel this way, and then you get people that help Spain conquer other people. Then captains and navigators on their ship teaching the white folks how to be seafaring people and negotiate the seas and shit, and navigate the seas. So now we taught them all this. So you don't even know, you haven't done enough reading. Those same Moors took Christopher Columbus into Africa, where he learned and was taught how to be a shipwright, where he learned and taught how to be an explorer, where they taught him math and they taught him how to read maps and shit. And the nigga just couldn't go nowhere. He kept getting lost. He had nothing but failed voyages until he got with these brothers, right? Then they taught him, and then it progressed. And then you see what it got here. But you need to read some more history, brother. Not just white history, brother. You got to read Van Sertima. You got to read Clark. You got to read all these great scholars, Bear Shango, and these brothers who done really laid it down a good, detailed history of this stuff that you're trying to misrepresent. And because you may have a great-great-grandmother that you think was Wampanoag or whatever, you want to sacrifice all that other stuff in your blood, the 75% of the rest of who you are, and say that you are that. That is sad indeed.
Can I ask you guys a question? Did he ever say what tribe he's a member of?
He said on Clubhouse the other day. What did he say? Wampanoag in Oklahoma or something like that. He said something. He said it on the other show. And then Ishmael, ain't that your guy Ish? Ish said that they was like cousins or something, and they both members of the same tribe and shit like that.
Bro, these dudes hate themselves, bro. Say, bro, these dudes look like Nigerians.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
sitting
yes,
around
they do.
talking about they Native Americans.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? You know, Ish look like he should have a turban on the back of a horse riding through the deserts of Africa. You follow what I'm saying? But they want to be Indians. I don't know how top caps look, but the bottom line is this. What they are doing, family, if y'all don't take nothing else from this program, because we had 315. When they said, wish a nigga try. But the bottom line is this, right? If y'all don't take nothing from this, basically when you all see those old pictures from the 1800s of our people dressed as Indians, or with Indians, is basically what you are seeing are freedmen, right? Who was either enslaved by these people or freed, or you are seeing the people who are Gullah Geechee, who entered into confederations with these people to stop the United States from coming into the territories of Georgia and Florida. Mm-hmm. And these people lived in the swamps of Louisiana. They lived in the Georgia forest, the swamps of Florida, and they basically hooked up with these people.
South Carolina too, bro.
In South Carolina. So you know what I'm saying? You see little Sally Rose, and she saw this big warrior who was born in West Africa, was brought over here as a slave and escaped. She liked him. They had kids, right? So you will see a man who he's not with his tribes in Sierra Leone no more, or West Africa, or Guinea or Ghana. So he's with these tribes. So they marrying in, they taking the culture of the Indian tribes living amongst them. But that does not mean that these people did not come over here during the enslavement period of the transatlantic slave trade. And that's what y'all seeing, family. If y'all don't take nothing else from that, that's what y'all seeing. And these people are trying to pass these individuals, these freedmen, off as the original Native American tribes.
Indeed.
Yeah, let me say something too. I'm gonna read something. I wish I could.
Think about to read something.
I'm gonna read something. Just one paragraph.
Go ahead, John.
This is from Al Jazeera. We talked about it on the program last year when Joe Biden came out and said, basically, descendants of freedmen can get reparations only if Native Americans can get it first. And when he said that, then we obviously that's a problem, and maybe that's what helped add fuel to their little fire, because they figured, they say, see, we don't have to be Negroes, we can be Native Americans anyway. So it says, this is from Al Jazeera. It says the article is titled "How Native Americans Adopted Slavery from White Settlers." All right, so I'm skipping down. It says in 1860, about 30 years after their removal to Indian Territory from their respective homes in the Southeast, Cherokee Nation citizens own 2,511 slaves, 15% of their total population. Choctaw citizens own 2,349 slaves, 14% of their total population. And Creek citizens own 1,532 slaves, 10% of the total population. Chickasaw citizens own 975 slaves, which amounted to 18% of their total population, a proportion equivalent to that of white slave owners in Tennessee, a former neighbor of the Chickasaw Nation and a large slaveholding state.
Wow.
This made Chickasaws the largest slaveholding nation of the 5 tribes in proportion to their population. National laws restricted the movement of enslaved people, preventing them from learning to read, write, and prohibited interracial relationships. Now, I got a question for y'all. Who were these people that were enslaved? Now, are you telling me that the people who were the true full-blooded, people of this tribe were taken as they were somehow, the full-blooded ones were not allowed to, like, they were usurped and they were replaced in terms of being the top people in the tribe and the chiefs, and they were replaced with, the Irish and all these people. And then those people who would, if think about it, if you're full-blooded, you're probably most likely going to be, you're going to be respected. You're going to be probably the majority of the population, right? Phenotypically. So you're going to tell me that those people where were they in terms of slave ownership? Because we don't see, we don't see any images of those people being slave owners. We don't see any stories about those people because they will be referred to as Africans or Negroes if somebody saw them. We don't see anything. So you're telling me they were then where did they get these slaves from? Were they enslaved? Were these citizens of that tribe enslaved, or were these chattels that they got from elsewhere? You know what I'm saying? So like these are things that don't make sense. These are things that don't make sense. How are you going to like take the majority of the population, which is the full-blooded, and reduce them to the bottom? I don't see how that happens. How does that happen?
Somebody
Because that's what
already
they're saying.
answered that.
They're saying the Negroes, we the real true ones, the full-blooded ones. So how do you reduce us to slaves essentially in that population?
Somebody already touched on it. It was either Grim or Logic. One of them actually already touched on that when Top Cat was on.
Yeah, we read that joint. We touched on it in the beginning of the program as well on how they ended up, many of them in different areas became forced into servitude under these things. But if we must go back and touch it up, maybe we can. But I think you was asking a question to get the people to kind of think for themselves, you know what I'm saying, and beg that question in their own mind, because what Josh is saying is simple to figure out and understand. We got to be thinkers, people. And like Grim was saying, you have to put some of that onto the people themselves and say, you know what, you can't just keep letting people come hoodwink you every time they want to come up with something new. Get rooted in yourself and let's rock out with that, because ain't nobody been as successful as our people. And so everybody's trying to steal our legacy. And that's the reason why, because we created the wealthiest nation in the history of the world. We have the greatest accomplishments in the history of the world. But we have the ultimate problem of everybody wanting to step on us at the same time. So they see that opportunity and they think it's the American way. And so people like Top Cat say that, they just being American, finding a creative way to shit on the freedmen, because that's what everybody else come over here do. The immigrants come over here and find creative ways to
look at the tweet Dane Calloway put out. He see freedmen catching fire all over the internet, all over YouTube, and now he puts out a tweet saying they was white men.
Yes, because the people that was against the freedmen then, that they are still here now, representing themselves and their children, and they're against us today. We fighting the same people that helped destroy our ancestors' legacy, and they're coming back to try to destroy it again because they see us quickening that ancestral energy. And all of our, see, we have a people who the curse is not just the theft of material wealth, but spiritual connection as well. So they see the spirit getting strong because you got the brothers talking about the freedmen now. Now your ancestors, they hear that. They like, damn, y'all done forgot about me for all this time. And now finally, and it's been ages, they remembering. So that energy waking up, and then you see the enemy's energy waking right on up with them, trying to come confuse the people, make you forget and go back to sleep again. But we weren't here then, but we here now. You understand? So we not going to let it go down like that. So when you come into the University of the Freedmen, you come into Freedmen University, you're going to get the best knowledge, the best of knowledge, the best of your history. And you can keep that, and we will expose the difference between the good meal, the good liquid, and that good eating. And then I told you on the Freedman Show, you let people come in and give you the poorest parts of history and stuff that is made up, but we're giving you the best parts of history, which is your ancestor history, so that now we ain't trying to tell you what to think. We come with sources and facts and information. Like we said in the beginning, we're giving our sources and everything, but you got people. We had visitors today. The visitors came on, and even when we was wanting to let them show their knowledge and research to the world, they refused it. He said, I'm not going to tell you where I got this from. Now, what kind of person who says he is come as a helper tell you I have the remedy for your help, but you can only get this from me? I won't show you the recipe. I won't show you where I got it from, and you might not even be healed, but listen to me anyway and just take it. That is a parlor trick, snake oil swindler. You understand? So asking, show that source, because maybe he talked about we missed the opportunity. No, he missed an opportunity, because if he had the wisdom and his knowledge was right and exact, when we asked him for the source, he could have let that be a teaching moment. Say, see, brothers, y'all haven't researched this area here. You haven't seen this and read that. He could have educated us. But anyone who has something to hide, like they face, they come amongst men who showing themselves to not only each other, but the people. You understand? And then you have a coward come behind us who talks big, but hides in the dark. You understand? He barks loud, but he don't got no teeth to bite. You understand?
That's because he don't want to lose that. He got to go to McDonald's in the morning. That's why.
That's right. He probably in McDonald's using the Wi-Fi because he don't got Wi-Fi for himself. You understand? So we got to understand these type of people, and we want to expose the authentic from the synthetic. We are real men doing real work for real people, our people, and we do it consistently. And we've everybody on this program has been doing it for a long time. We have not just come up into the YouTube space trying to get followers and subscribers. Every time we come on here, we are sacrificing important things that we could be doing. We on here 3 hours with y'all because we know people like Top Catz and Dane Calloway are out here misleading the people. So we have to come reveal that light and that knowledge to y'all and show them for the fools that they are, because in other spaces, they getting off with that and they taking a lot of people down with them. And we not here for that. So people say BTP always beefing with people. Well, somebody got to do it. Somebody got to fight the good fight, because these brothers is out here swindling left and right and taking all your money. They destroying families with this foolishness. They got people sacrificing their citizenship that their ancestors died for. They don't want to vote and get involved in politics. They move into abandoned buildings and become homeless. That is a crazy teaching. You understand? No, we teaching you how to be the power, not give up the power. But and
let me say this. What's the fascination with all of these people want to be Indians and stuff like that, and Native Americans? Man, these people ain't never get no real good shot in this world, right? The best thing that ever came along for them people was these damn casinos. Mm-hmm. Those people are suffering on those goddamn plantations. I mean, not plantations, reservations right now. They suffering. I mean, why would you just want to give up your freedman history, man, to say that you are some of these? I mean, I just don't see the benefit of it. You're not gonna get nothing for the government. They got tribes the government, U.S. government don't even recognize, in the Indian Bureau, and they real quote unquote Indians. So, man, that's really a flawed system. The Indians, you know, they basically got a raw deal. So how is it helping you? Because see, now here's the thing. This ties into this. A lot of those people, excuse me, that accept that body of knowledge logic, they think that at the end of the road is going to be some kind of golden carrot or pot of gold. They think one day the U.S. is just going to pop off and give them some. See, that's why people are attracted to this whole Moorish, Indian, Native American thing, because they think at the end of the day, somebody go give them something for nothing. And that one day maybe the UN can't even get the United States to follow certain things. What makes you think that by claiming that you are Indian that you're going to get anything out of that, and then you just discard your true ancestors who not only helped us but helped them also? Freedmen activity has helped everybody in this country, and you just want to give it away.
It's sad, brother. It's definitely sad, man. I don't understand it. I've been my mind has been boggled tonight listening to some of the foolishness. You know what I mean? I'm surprised we were able to keep that up. If we didn't have such a good program that we was running down for the first hour and a half, I don't know if we could have done that all night listening to that crazy stuff, man.
I couldn't. I know that.
But you know,
I'm gonna have to buy a new camera.
Oh yeah, we done laid it down tonight though, man. And you know, we gonna have to come up with a policy, man. Ain't no more hide and go seek when you come on BTP, man. You, especially if you trying to talk about you a leader of the people and you a legend and all of that. You got to come show that. You ain't got to show me. I'm not interested in seeing you, but show the people who's telling them that they the leader and they demand that. You got to show the people. You ain't got to show me, but you got to show the people.
Facts. I mean, you know, we came, we saw, we conquered, as we always do. And we had to address this foolishness. You know, good night, Miss Battle Peace. I didn't mean to be on this long, but I kind of figured it was going to stretch a little bit, right? But we had to address this. I'm noticing a trend on Clubhouse, and the main two culprits are the Black conservatives and the pseudo indigenous native Indians like Top Cat. And these are people that are they're thinning out our, if I could use the term, body politic, our collective political power. I seen an article today on CNN where young Pharaoh was disinvited to speak at CPAC, the conservative, I believe it's Conservative Political Action Committee. It's a Republican PAC, the Republican Party full of racists who are right now pushing voter oppression measures through their state's legislators that will largely affect our people. You got these guys who are thinning out our political power. One thing we can say is that our freedmen ancestors didn't do that. We read articles on this show that show that they never seen a people more excited to be voting and become political like the free Negroes in the South. Said that they accomplished, and this was a direct testimony from a freedman in 1 year, what would have took 100 years. This is how enthusiastic they were about getting a slice of the power in this nation. Because I believe that we've been boxed out of that power for so long, we don't know what it feels like, smells like, we don't know what it tastes like. We don't know anything about it. We don't know what it looks like outside of looking at others wield it over us. If we keep up the thinning of our political strength, if we keep this up, we'll never have any power in this nation. You'll have these same people like Top Cats running around talking about we're Indians, taking us nowhere, lying, showing statues sculpted in Germany saying that they were handcrafted in Florida. You see, we can't deal with people like that, family. They're not leaders. They are rhetoricians at best. They're good, swift talkers with the nonsense that they speak. Not just him. A lot of other people. We see them on Clubhouse. We hear them, I should say, on Clubhouse every day. Like, what is this guy talking about? And you hear people in the back saying, "Deep, oh, that's facts. You're right about that." I'm like, man, I know for a fact that's wrong. What are they studying? We have to become diligent in this push. Our ancestors gives us our wings. Our ancestors who were buried right here. We are a continuation of the freedom fighters, and we just got some house cleaning to do, family. It's freedom first. So, you know, we 3 hours and 34 minutes in this piece. We're gonna get off this piece. And I'm laughing because it's funny. We beat the brakes off a legendary Top Cap. I gotta say it like that because he is a liar, man. This dude is just a straight up and down liar, and we caught him in so many lies tonight from his own words. From his own words. Easy. How do you not go back? Let me just say, how do you who follow this guy not go back and say, well, let me see if what he's saying is right? He's presenting a statue saying this is how the Tamiqua Indians look. From the Jacksonville Historical Society, I believe it was called, right? Yeah, the Jacksonville Historical Society. Now, the image on the website shows this Moorish figurine. Not one. This guy's a liar, family. Gotta cut this stuff off at the knees. We gotta cut it off at the knees, and as soon as they dip forward, we have to take its head. It's just as simple as that. So
Pete Morris Jedi though, because that's the other thing he did. He is the dude said, "Let me see your family, but you can't see mine." Why would I do that? Why would I do that? He like, what type of man would ask you to do some stuff that he was like? That was. I'm glad you caught that one, Morris Jedi. That had me blue.
Yeah, man. So we gonna get up off of here. I mean, we've done our job tonight, family.
Word.
Yeah, and the Black conservatives, y'all next, because we gotta get y'all too. Because like
we gotta get them too.
Y'all problem. So find your great hero Black conservatives and whoever y'all think that's the wave now. We getting them next.
That's right. Tell them to come through. Because I done been in them clubhouse rooms. I done smoked dudes like Julian before. Black conservatives. They don't want no problems with the BTP team. Period.
Yeah, it's we had enough of this. People looking to fractionalize and take people away from the fight. We need to strengthen our numbers to the fight. Stop thinking we can separate and you don't have to fight. You know, you want to go and fight and get involved in somebody else's fight that don't even have nothing to do with you. No, we need to solidify and grow our numbers to bring the fight for our people, for our group, and take it to the people we need to be fighting. Period.
Indeed.
Peace, family.
Yep.
Hey, Pete, thank y'all for letting me dissect that dude, man. I appreciate that.
We're gonna talk about that one off the air. All right, family. Let me leave y'all with the platform's motto. That is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. With that, I say peace.
Peace.